the National Hockey League to St. Louis. Next season, the Blues will have a brand new home, the Kiel Center Arena downtown, and it will be fabulous. But tonight, the old barn on Oakland Avenue is still in business for what may be its final regular season game. On this historic night, in a game with considerable playoff ramifications, the St. Louis Blues take on the Winnipeg Jets. The arena. I'm Ken Wilson with Joe Micheletti, Bruce Affleck, and Rick Mahar are here. So we're down to the final game of the regular season, game number 84. And I guess, Joe, at least to me, the significance tonight is the Blues have to show that they can play well consistently.
That's what this game is all about. It's not whether Winnipeg wins the game or the Blues win the game, but the Blues have to come out and try and win this game and put in a good effort. And I think that's why Curtis Joseph is playing in goal, because he'd like to go into the playoffs on a winning note and playing well.
Let's look at the Western Conference in terms of the playoffs. Toronto, Dallas, St. Louis, Chicago. Well, we know the Blues are either going to play Toronto or Dallas in the first round, but Dallas could finish ahead of Toronto and Chicago could catch St. Louis.
Yeah, the thing we do know, Ken, are the two top teams and the bottom two teams. Detroit will play the San Jose Sharks, and Calgary will host Vancouver.
And while the Blues have been a bit up and down, they've had some great games lately, but they've had some other poor games. One thing we do know is that number 19, Brendan Shanahan, has been fabulous.
Well, he's been something, hasn't he? I mean, he's been a great joy to watch all season long. Career highs in points, assists, penalty minutes, shots, and he has really been something in consistency all season long, and yet he picked up his game in the last couple of weeks.
And tonight, winger Dave Roberts makes his NHL debut.
Well, long-awaited NHL debut for Dave Roberts. 4 years at the University of Michigan, where he compiled 251 points. Here's a player that has good size, a great deal of talent, and maybe he'll be the player that the Blues are looking for right now, just to give him a little added spark.
It'll be interesting to see what kind of competition the Winnipeg Jets provide tonight. We all know, Joe, this is their last game. They will not go to the playoffs. They might be real loose.
Boy, it's been a very tough season for the Winnipeg Jets. The second worst record in the National Hockey League. They're going to lose their number one pick this year, 28 points worse than a year ago, Ken.
Well, Rick and Bruce are with us, and fellas, it seems kind of funny to say, hey, here we are in the last regular season game at the arena.
Yeah, it seems like the season started yesterday, Ken, and I guess going down to game number 84, and the Blues are still juggling their lineup to try and get that right chemistry. And I guess, Rick, how important is this game?
It's very important, and I think, the Blues themselves know that they haven't played well over the last 2 weeks, and they got to be playing better together as a team. And I'm talking to the guys before the game tonight. They're nervous, but they were loose also on the job. This thing is, and like Joe said, to go into the playoffs on a winning note means everything.
Well, you say that, and if they lose tonight, they wake up tomorrow and say, well, I guess we got to do it in the playoffs?
Yeah, they have to. I mean, but this is a game where they can build some character. It's going to be a tough game. Winnipeg is out of the playoffs. They're going to be loose. It's going to be a tough hockey game for them, and they got to have 20 guys going together.
There should be some fun here tonight for the fans also. As you saw, we have a 67 Camaro here and also a 94 Camaro. It's fan appreciation night. One of the fans will go away in the 94 Camaro. Bob Plager will drive out the 67 as he's the oldest member still around here. Up to you, Ken.
All right, thanks, fellas. Fan appreciation night. We're at the arena. The Blues entertaining the Winnipeg Jets. And this is St. Louis Blues hockey.
the arena with Ken Wilson. I'm Joe Micheletti. Bruce Affleck and Rick Mahar are here. Our goaltenders for tonight's game, the former Detroit Red Wing Tim Cheveldae will be in goal for the Winnipeg Jets, and Curtis Joseph for the St. Louis Blues. He'll be back in goal. Career highs. We talked about Shanahan. Career highs for Curtis Joseph in wins and in games played for the St. Louis Blues. Why Southwest Airlines? It's just plain smart. The officials for tonight's game, our referee will be Terry Gregson, the linesman Mike Civic, and Swede Knox.
Well, let's see what happens here, folks. The playoffs are next, but one more game to play, and it's the last regular season game at the arena, most likely. Blues win the draw. Stastny gets the puck back to Housley. He's on with Kasatonov. Stastny has Hull on one side and Prokhorov on the other as Bob Berry juggles his line. Stastny falls down. Tkachuk moves in. Can't get a shot. Circles the net. Feeds in front. Empty net. And the Blues clear the puck. Not out. Left point. Ulanov keeps it in. Dubois-Sato now behind the net. And the centering effort by Emerson fails. Blues work out. Here's Hull a pass. It's too far for Prokhorov. The puck the length of the ice. Ulanov touches it. And very quickly an icing call against the Blues.
Winnipeg with an early chance, Ken. They were able to walk in. Keith Tkachuk, his great size and strength. He'll just try and go around the net. Now Curtis Joseph is well out of the net, but Tkachuk with a smart play going all the way around. And then Peter Stastny coming back doing a good job defensively, and that prevents the other Winnipeg player, the late forward coming in, from putting it into an empty net. Curtis Joseph down on his knees, so he was on the net, but a good job defensively by Peter Stastny to come back and make the play.
From the face-off, Jet Steen in the corner with a puck. Feeds to the side of the net, and it gets away, and the Blues take over. Here's Bozon ahead for Janney too far. And a good pass, and the Jet Steen dumps it in. Steen along the boards, can't control, and Steen gets the puck ahead. A pass for Darren Shannon gets away, and here's Duchesne for the Blues. Up front, Shanahan. He takes the pass on with Janney and Bozon. Shanahan shooting the puck in, trying to clear it out. Daryl Shannon, and with the help of Steen, the Jets shoot the puck down the ice right on goal. Winnipeg is changing. A minute 15 gone. First period, no score. Puck comes to center ice. Dallas Drake loses it. Ty Domi has it. Slides it back to the defense. And the Blues begin a line change. Here's the pass off Drake. The puck deep into the Blues. Then Dombo back. Here, steals behind the goal. The ex-Red Wing trying to get the puck to Chris King. He does, but it gets away from King. Now here is Michael Tkachuk, and the puck ends up behind the net. Tkachuk in front, number 60, a newcomer. Blues get the puck, clear it up the boards, and Korolev tips it out. Now Tkachuk back in his own end. Feeds it across, over on the far side. McDean moves it up, and the Blues intercept. Korolev to Nedved. Nedved over the blue line, a pass, and a good Dave Roberts shot goes wide. Dean Kennedy beats up on the far wing to Tkachuk. He'll shoot the puck in from his side of the red line. This will be icing as Tilly touches the puck, and play stopped. No score. 2:09 gone, first period. This is St. Louis Blues hockey.
Welcome back to the arena. We played 2 minutes and 9 seconds in this scoreless first period, with the faceoff coming deep in the Winnipeg zone.
Cheveldae poised for the draw out of the crease. And it's Tomlinson losing the draw to Nedved, but the puck comes to center ice. Here's Murray Barrett ahead to Dave Roberts. Roberts is on with Korolev and Nedved. On the far side, there's Shannon. He gets the puck out. Now it's loose at center ice. Tomlinson can't go anywhere. And finally, the puck shot in by Dean Kennedy. This is Tilly for the Blues behind the net. Up the far wing. And Dave Roberts hit. Nice pass on to Nedved, trying to cut in. Pass in front for Korolev, knocked away. And the Jets clear the puck out. Murray Barron goes back in his own end. Both teams are changing here. Less than 3 minutes have been played. No score first period. Barron gets the puck back. Feeds it over far side to Korolev. Up for Herkis too far. Control knocking it down. Then Emerson ends up on the ice, and the puck ends up in the crowd. So a fan on Fan Appreciation Night has a souvenir.
Now John Paddock, the head coach and the general manager of the Winnipeg Jets, when I spoke with him this morning. He said, there's not much that I can say at this point going into the last game of the season. And it's important for the Blues to get off to a good start here tonight, Ken. John Paddock's team has been struggling in the early parts of recent games. In Toronto, they lost 7-0, but they were trailing 4-0 after 10 minutes of that game. And a similar situation in Washington 2 nights ago.
Winnipeg with the puck. Dave Manson feeds it across. And Daryl Shannon fires the puck in. Joseph leaves it for Housley. His team with Big Al. Alexei Kasatonov on defense. Up the far wing to Mackey. He's on with Herkis and Karamnov dumping it in. Herkis sends the puck to the net. And it's batted away by Cheveldae. Karamnov ties up a man. Mackey into the corner to Herkis. Now to Karamnov. He pulls up trying to get away from Emerson does. And Manson takes him down. But Manson loses his stick. Manson will get a penalty. A penalty call, the first of the game by referee Terry Gregson, and Manson will go off, and the Blues will have the night's first power play.
It was a great move by Karamnov, starting in the corner by spinning away from Nelson Emerson, and then trying to beat Manson behind the net. Now Manson's stick goes right into the skates and between the legs of Karamnov. He just trips over the stick of Dave Manson. Manson also lost his stick on the play. And referee Terry Gregson right there to whistle Manson off, and the Blues will have the first power play of the evening.
3:36, the time of the penalty. Bob Berry has to be concerned about his power play. It has not functioned as well lately as they would like it to. The power play, of course, will be essential in the playoffs. Back to the blue line. Oh, for a shot! And it goes off the post. Cheveldae got a piece of it. Now the Jets clear the puck the length of the ice.
Now, Ken, one of the things that the Blues power play has to do is they have to start working a little bit harder when they don't have the puck to try and gain control of the puck. Once they have control with all that skill, they're fine, but they've got to get the puck first.
Blues have the best power play in the league at home, but it's only 8th overall at 21% success. Janney to the blue line to Duchesne. Far side to Housley. Back straight away to Duchesne. He'll shoot, and it's deflected wide. Shanahan loses the puck. And Yulanov clears it to center ice off Duchesne. He flings it across the way to Housley. He leaves it at center ice. Here's Gintal moving in. Step on Gintal. Great shot, and Joseph the save. Shanahan up the far boards to Duchesne. Tkachuk gives him a bump. Shanahan regains the puck through center ice over the blue line into the corner. Great save by Cheveldae on Shanahan. Jets can't clear. Far left point. Duchesne now behind the net to Shanahan. He centers to the blue line to Housley. Now to Janney to Hall. Shot. Great save. Robbed by Cheveldae. 5 minutes gone. No score. First period. Still 30 seconds to go in this Blues man advantage. Up the middle to Nedved. He drops the puck neatly for Duchesne. Blues are changing. Duchesne works in. Down there and Shannon ends up with a puck again. Goes behind the net. Now to Prokhorov. To the blue line to Kasatonov to Prokhorov. Blues right at the tail end of a power play. In the corner to Peter Stastny. Now behind the net for Prokhorov. Puck gets away. He gets to it. Then it's stolen and cleared out by Darren Shannon. And Manson ready to come back on the ice. Drake gets to the puck. Gets around it. Jets behind the net. Loses it. Then Darren Shannon there. Jets at full strength. And the puck comes up to Nedved. At center ice to Prokhorov. Right wing to Stastny. Dipping the puck in the corner. Prokhorov gets there. Then Kennedy knocks the puck ahead. Stastny wrestled down in front of the net. Wrestled down by McGee, who gets the puck and he clears it over the glass. And out of play. We are 1 second shy of the 6-minute mark. No score first period.
Now the Blues with a couple of great chances on their power play, but Tim Cheveldae came up with 2 great saves. One on Brendan Shanahan, the second one on Brett Hall. The Blues had good control of the puck, moved the puck around well, and Brett Hall from in front, he'll end up taking a pass from Craig Janney. Janney with the quick pass, and Hall put himself in position, and a great blocker save by Tim Cheveldae. Nice movement by the Blues, moving the puck around, and that's just a great reaction by Cheveldae, making the save on Brett Hall.
Now the Blues intercept in the Jet zone. Zombo fires to the far corner. Here's Karamnov. He's on with Herkis and Mackey into the corner to Mackey. It's a big crowd. A pass to Karamnov. He's checked down. And the Jets, Dean Kennedy off the boards for Domi. He slaps the puck to center ice. Zombo beats Borsato to it. Here's Mackey leaving the puck in the center circle, and it's offside. The Blues offside. No score first period. This is St. Louis Blues. Action will be Game 3 of the first round of the playoffs at home. It'll be Friday the 22nd. Game 4 Sunday the 24th. Tickets available at all Blues ticket outlets or by calling 291-7600. The Stanley Cup here and tickets are available. Blues will play Games 1 and 2 on the road, either in Dallas or Toronto. We'll know tonight. Here's Karamnov carrying the puck back into his own end. Housley and Kasatonov on defense. Karamnov on the line with Mackey and Herkus, and Kasatonov back to cover up. Drake up front, along with King and Groschick for work in, lose the puck, it's cleared out onto Dallas Drake's stick. He's with King. Now Groschick, here's a shot wide. King in the far boards. Pokes the puck behind the net. Dallas Drake, second-year NHLer with the puck. Leaves it along the boards. Groschick dumps it in the corner to King. Housley wraps up King. Then it's centered. And Groschick upended, can't get a shot. Housley, the ex-Jet, loses the puck to King. In the corner to Groschick. Both teams want to change. Blues intercept. Here's Karamnov. He'll circle back in his own end. Here's Housley. He loses the puck. Blues could have gotten it out. Didn't. Now Drake can't get a shot. He's in front of King and to Groschick. He's grabbed. Held by Roberts. There'll be a penalty. This all started when Karamnov, near the blue line, took the puck back deep in his own end. Very late in a shift. And the Blues will end up short-handed with 12:14 left here in period 1. Dave Roberts, the rookie, his NHL debut goes off.
Yeah, pardon me, Ken. That's one of those types of penalties that would be considered a good penalty because he came back to the front of the net and actually prevented a scoring chance by holding on to Groschick, the 18-year-old who was born in Czechoslovakia, playing in his third game. Groschick just goes to the front of the net. Roberts had come back. Well, he did a pretty good job of tying up the stick, but he gets called for holding. And Winnipeg, which has had a pretty good power play for most of the season, will have their first one this evening.
Their power play is 11th in the league.
And meanwhile, just prior to the penalty on Roberts, again in front of the net, Winnipeg with some pretty good pressure.
Roberts holding, 7:46, puck in the Blues end. Dean keeps it into Tkachuk, bouncy puck, Shanahan steals it, backhands it up the boards, off McDean's body to center ice. He'll wheel it back in his own end, and Emerson will retreat. Emerson and McDean on the points, Tkachuk up front with Steen and Darren Shannon for Winnipeg. The Blues penalty killing, 14th in the league. Here's Steen, the veteran, flipping the puck in. Barron takes him to the boards. Zombo gets the puck, shoots it up the near boards, not out, kept in by McDean. Right once to Nelson Emerson, and his pass knocked down. The puck cleared down the ice by Bozon. The Blues out shooting the Jets 3-2. We're just in the first period, and there's no score. Winnipeg has the man advantage. Here's Emerson over the line, trying to move in on Zombo. He fails to. Backhands the puck behind the net, poked away by Duchesne. Here's Tkachuk to the right wing circle. He's knocked down. Zombo loses his stick. A battle for the puck, and Hall comes up with it. Trying to get around Manson. He can't. Now thought there should have been a penalty. Now Darren Shannon to Dallas Drake. A pass in front. Oh, Tkachuk. A kick and a 10 stop by Joseph. At the point, Manson a drive. And that hits Zombo, I believe, in front. It did. Zombo's hurting. Here's Tkachuk back to the blue line. The puck gets by Manson and goes the length of the ice. Half a minute to go, and Dave Roberts penalty. Both teams are changing. No score first period. And a pass, and it's offside. That pass originating in the Jets zone, accepted by a Jets player out over the center, Redlaw.
Now, we talked earlier, Ken, about the trade involving Dave Manson coming over from Edmonton. He played his first game with the Winnipeg Jets against the Blues about a month ago. And we talked about some of the things that Winnipeg had to give up. They gave up a young defenseman, just 20 years of age, that went to the Edmonton Oilers. And he was their number 2 pick a while ago. Meanwhile, on the short-handed situation, Hull trying to get by Manson. Brett trying to take a little bit of a dive there, and a good non-call by the referee Gregson. But meanwhile, just getting back to Manson, the number 1 pick for Winnipeg this year going to Edmonton. That's going to be the number 2 pick overall in the draft.
Jets offside. Borsato moves in over the blue line ahead of the punt. Len Sather has a host of young players already in Edmonton, and everybody around the league kind of getting envious, looking at not only the youngsters, but the picks that he's picking up.
Well, he's going to have, as I mentioned, the number 2 pick overall, and either the number 3 or the number 4 pick overall, depending on how Hartford does tonight, and depending on how Edmonton does in their last game. So he's going to have two of the top 4 picks in the draft this year, plus the other player that they did receive in the Dave Manson deal was a young player by the name of Mats Lindgren, who was regarded as the best young player in Sweden, and they intend to sign him and bring him in next year.
The penalty just about over. Jets out of their own end, just center ice. Great. Flips the puck in. Roberts back on. Joseph leaves it for Casatona. Up the boards, Quintal pinches in, carries the puck into the corner. Bumped by Roberts and knocked down, but play is stopped. 10:05 left. First period. No score at the arena. Blues and Jets. This is St. Louis Blues hockey.
The Blues in Winnipeg, no score at the halfway mark of this first period. Blues coach Bob Berry making a couple of changes into this game tonight. We talked about Herkus being up and Roberts, but on defense he's changed the pairings around, which had been together for quite a while. Murray Barron is now playing with Tom Tilley, even though he has kept Housley and Kasatonov together. What he's trying to do is just get a little bit more stability back on defense with this team, and they weren't very sharp in Dallas 2 days ago.
Face off to Joseph's left, Tomlinson and Nedved, and the Blues control. Barron from behind the net moves up the right wing to Korolev. Long pass, too far for Roberts. And McBean slides the puck into the Blues end. Could be icing, will be. And the whistle stops play. Jim Montgomery not getting the call tonight. Kelly Chase and Doug Crossman also sitting out. And Kevin Miller, Basil McRae, and Denny Chassé are out with injuries. The games we're following, there they are. Toronto, Chicago, no score first period at the stadium. Paul Coffey, a goal before the 4-minute mark down at Reunion Arena in Dallas for Detroit.
Detroit with that big win last night, playing at home, beating the Montreal Canadiens 9-0 last night. And you talk about teams getting hot for the playoffs and struggling for the playoffs. Montreal has had a very difficult time. Meanwhile, seems to be playing much better. And Bob Essensa, he's played 12 games for Detroit now, has a goals against average of 2.5, even though his record is under 500 at 4-6-2. He seems to be playing better hockey for him, and that could be the real key for Detroit going into the playoffs.
If Detroit wins in Dallas, the Blues play Dallas in the first round. Here's Hull's shot. It deflects wide. Cheveldae behind the net settles the puck down for McBean. He loses it. That's the second time in the period McBean is cut to the middle in his own end, either carrying or passing. And the Blues have the puck. Stastny, he's bodied by Tomlinson. Here's Prokhorov. Across the ice to Hall. In the middle to Prokhorov. The puck knocked away, and this is Chris King. King out of his own end loses the puck. Then a Stastny pass intercepted by Tomlinson. Dave Tomlinson can't go anywhere. Tilley, far wing to Prokhorov. Both teams looking to change. Puck slides to Cheveldae and knocks it to the corner. Darren Shannon shoots it around near side to King. He'll feed right wing for Darren Shannon too far. Duchesne off the boards. Almost hit the linesman. Loose puck for Zombo. For Hull too far. This is going to be icing as Darryl Shannon touches the puck. And there's 8:54 left in a scoreless first period. The shots are even 4-aside.
And the other thing that's been difficult for the Winnipeg Jets this year, besides their poor play, is they're missing some key players on this team. Teemu Selanne, who is out for the season, he's been out for the last 8 or 10 weeks now for John Paddock and his Jets. Luminin, who is an outstanding defenseman, is out. Zamnov, a good young centerman from Russia, is out of the lineup. And then a couple of their tougher centermen, Gillen and Eagle, Eagles, good on face-offs, good checking type centermen, are also up for the season.
From the draw, Quintal, a screen shot goes wide. Duchesne up the board. Trying to get it out. Bozon, he can't. Now behind the play, referee Terry Gregson stops the action. And he is talking to Tkachuk. I believe that Steve Duchesne might have caught a stick in the face.
I agree with you. Duchesne looked like he got caught with the high stick, and Tkachuk will end up going over to the penalty box, and the Blues will have a power play.
Let's pause here. 5 seconds for station identification. This is St. Louis Blues hockey.
In the heat of the night, weeknights at 11 on St. Louis 11.
One of the young stars in the National Hockey League, Keith Tkachuk, goes off for the Winnipeg Jets. 2 minutes for high sticking, and the Blues will have the power play. Tkachuk is trying to forecheck on Steve Duchesne and gets his stick up, kind of chops him over the head a little bit. And Tkachuk goes off, and the Blues go on their second power play.
No score, first period. Blues have the puck in their own end. This is Housley. He's on one point, Duchesne on the other, up to the red line to Janney. That gets the puck in the opposition end in a hurry. Manson wheels, shoots at the length of the ice, and that's the downside of that. You can get it down the other end in a hurry. Blues will try to come up the ice again. 8:24 left, first period. Jam-packed house. Pass from Duchesne to Shanahan, too far. Quintal back behind his net. Flips the puck up the boards. Nice play by Duchesne coming in to intercept. Then Hall a pass back for Janney over his shoulder. And the loose puck at center ice. Here's Housley. 1:20 to go in the power play. To Duchesne. Janney up front with Shanahan and Hall on the power play. Janney carries the puck in. Avoids a check. Moves along the near board. Straight away to Duchesne. Far side out of Housley's reach. The puck gets by Hall. And here's Shanahan at the blue line. Duchesne one-timer wide. Behind the net, Manson chops the puck up the boards. And it's cleared out by Darren Shannon, but out of play. And that stops the action with 55 seconds to go in this Blues man advantage.
Kenny, there's a huge difference, isn't there, when the Blues are able to carry the puck on the power play over the blue line and set up as opposed to shooting the puck in? When you have all that talent on the play, and meanwhile, getting back to the last chance, the pass from Shanahan from the corner, and the quick shot by Steve Duchesne from the point. Boy, he let that shot go right off the pass, didn't stop it, and it was just wide as Cheveldae went down to make the save on Steve Duchesne. But Ken, getting back to that point, what a difference when the Blues can carry the puck over the blue line, handle it, set things up, and start moving the puck around. Boy, when they have to dump it in, they have a very difficult time.
This is Housley. Nedved. Corner. Stastny centering. Kennedy breaks it up. Back to the point. Nedved along the boards in the corner to Stastny. Prokhorov the other forward. Kasatonov and Housley on the point. Prokhorov to Kasatonov to Prokhorov. Back to Kasatonov. Near point. Housley. He'll shoot. And that goes wide. Half a minute to go in the power play. No score, first period. Left point, Kasatonov. Right point to Housley. Into Nedved along the boards. Into the corner to Stastny. Now to Peter Nedved. To Stastny. In front. Prokhorov a shot that hit the Jets player. He had an open net. He got a wide open net and he got in the puck. Housley keeps it in. Here's a shot deflected. Save rebound. Stastny. And there is no goal as Cheveldae reaches back to grab the puck before it goes over the goal line. Stastny and the Blues thought they had scored.
Tim Cheveldae, 2 great saves. Bill Halsey makes just an outstanding play, taking the puck from the right boards all the way to the center. Then a quick wrist shot that's deflected by Stastny, and Cheveldae makes the first save, and then he's out of the play, down on the play. Stastny is there thinking he's going to put it into the empty net, and a great save by Cheveldae on the rebound as he just goes across after making the first save on Stastny, and with his stick is able to stop the puck again on Stastny's second try. Boy, Cheveldae has been terrific here in the early going, coming up with some great saves. And remember, the last time these two teams got together, it was Tim Cheveldae that came up with 43 saves in a 4-0 victory for the Winnipeg Jets.
That was just about a month ago in Winnipeg. The Blues have beaten the Jets twice. They have lost to Winnipeg 3 times. the previous meetings here in February, Blues won 6-5. In November, the Jets won here 4-3. Face off to Cheveldae's right. Nedved wins the draw. The penalty is over. Here's right point to Zamo. The puck comes to center ice. He leaves it. Then Tomlinson a pass behind Tkachuk. There, up the far wing. Korolev dumps it in. Cheveldae catches the puck and leaves it. Not up the boards. Not out. But now the Jets get it to center ice, and Zamo gives the puck to Roberts, quickly feeding to Nedved. Peter Nedved over the blue line, right wing to Korolev, cutting to the slot, a shot from well out of the save by Cheveldae. The Jets with a puck. Tomlinson, long pass at center ice. And here comes Nelson Emerson, cutting in, poke check by Barron. There'll be a penalty as Emerson ends up in the net. Barron lost a step there in the transition. Emerson can tried the poke check, got the puck, but got too much of the man.
Barron lost a step and Emerson gained a step, boys. He was able to come right through the neutral zone and get that pass. He just takes off right up the middle and just turns on the speed. Barron has to turn to try and get him. Now it's a good defensive play by Barron. He gets the puck first, and then Emerson goes down and slides into the post. But I thought initially a pretty good defensive play by Barron, getting the puck first, and then Emerson goes down. But in either case, the penalty is called and the Blues will be shorthanded again. Good effort by Barron coming back. Emerson with his great speed goes down, doesn't get the shot off before going into the net.
13:52, the time of the tripping penalty. Each team has picked up 2 minor penalties, and there is no score. The Blues out shooting the Jets 8-4. Tkachuk faces off. Shanahan wins the draw. Shanahan heads to center ice. He takes the pass. He's got one man back. McBean, he shoots, and Cheveldae will save, and Cheveldae, yes, has been very strong. Manson in the corner. Now Shanahan there. 5-6 players in the corner. And finally, referee Terry Gregson calls a hand pass on the Blues. And they are shorthanded. The faceoff will come out to center ice.
Boy, Brendan Shanahan trying to get his 8th shorthanded goal of the year. He just starts floating out to center ice. And he takes a pass, just turns and goes the other way. And again, he gets a shot off so quickly, but Tim Cheveldae comes up with a great save. Now the shots at this point are 8-4 in favor of the Blues, 9-4 now. But most of the shots that the Blues have had have been great scoring chances, and Tim Cheveldae has had to come up with numerous outstanding saves.
1:41 to go in the Winnipeg power play. Their captain, Tkachuk, sends the puck back to Manson. He's on one point, McBean on the other. Tkachuk is up front with Darren Shannon and Tomas Steen. Tkachuk, a great young player, shoots the puck in. Joseph leaves it. Duchesne rifles it around the far side off Hull, and the puck ends up in the Jets' end. And McBean back, pursued by Hull. Leaves the puck. Herkus after Herkus and Hull. Duchesne and Zombo killing the penalty. Here's Darren Shannon skating to center ice. Flips the puck in, knocked down by Duchesne. Tkachuk has it in the slot. Steen, and he drills it off the post. He beats Joseph, but hits the far post. Joseph's glove side. Steen into the slot to Tkachuk. He's covered by Hull. Near point McBean across the blade, and the puck comes to center ice. Manson with it. Up to Tkachuk. Power play Jets over the line. Tkachuk, a pass. Shanahan intercepts and backhands the puck the length of the ice. Here's Big Dave Manson changing. Barron back in 33 seconds. No score. First Bonkenthal flips the puck off on the right wing. Emerson. Emerson behind the Blues net. Emerson harassed by Housley. Now the puck goes to Shanahan. Loses the puck. And Ulanov has it over to Control, up to Drake. He's at center ice. 8 seconds until the penalty's over. Drake in on the left wing stop. Takes a hit from Kasatonov. Back to Ulanov. Straight away, Control. Shot on a big save by Joseph on Control. Barron back on. Blues again at full strength. Loose puck behind the Blues net. Drake slowed up by the stick of Housley. Shanahan back, can't get the puck behind the net, gets it up to Barron. Down to Shanahan, 4-on-2. To Casatonov. He'll stop, he shoots. And a save by Cheveldae. The Blues were wanting to change. That kind of diluted that rush a bit. 3:40 to go as the puck goes back deep in the Blues zone. Jets are still changing. Casatonov for Duchesne. Up down to Korolev. He's spun around. And Manson with a puck in his own end loses it, but there's Chris King. King up to the red line, offside. Domi takes the puck just over the center checkered red line. Play stop, no score. 3:28 left in the first period. This is St. Louis Blues hockey.
Winnipeg's best chance came on the power play. Keith Tkachuk with a great pass to Thomas Steen. He lets go a quick shot that has Curtis Joseph beat, but it hits the post, actually hit the inside of the post as it came out the other way.
Chicago leading 2-1 at home over Toronto. If they win and the Blues lose, Chicago finishes ahead of the Blues in the playoff picture. Quick shot from the blue line and a save by Cheveldae. That would be, by virtue of the same points, Chicago would have one more win.
Kenny, in that game, Toronto coach Pat Burns is resting a few of his key players. See that Potvin is not playing, nor is Doug Gilmour or Mike Gardner.
I like Chicago's chances over Toronto tonight. And again, Detroit leading at Dallas in the first period on a Paul Coffey goal. 3 minutes to go here in St. Louis at the arena. Domi at center ice with a puck. Gets it ahead. And the puck deflected in by Tomlinson. Now the Jets are changing. Tilley for the Blues, up to Korolev, back to Tilley. Over to his defense partner, Barron. He races to the red line. Keeps possession in over the blue line. Dumps the puck behind the Jets net. Cheveldae leaves it there for McBean. And the Blues are looking to change. Here's a pass ahead to Tkachuk. Over the line with Domi. Borsano goes to the net. And the pass intercepted. Back the other way. Shanahan to Nedved. Now back to Shanahan over the line. Duchesne to the net. Oh, Korolev alone is funny face. Backhander. Hits the side of the net. Korolev looks to center. Has the puck poked away by McBean. And Borsano has the puck. Luciano Borsano out of his own end over the red line with a feed to Emerson. He loses it but shoots the puck in. 2 minutes to go in a scoreless first period. Zombo up to Shanahan. At center ice to Bozan, and Steen steals the puck. Tomas Steen over the line, loses his balance, keeps the puck, takes a shot, and it goes wide. Jets Emerson into the corner to Tkachuk. He takes a bump from Zombo. Leaves the puck in the corner. Bozan gets good position. Consequently gets the puck, then makes a forward pass. Here's Tkachuk. He loses the puck, stripped away by Shanahan. It's bumped away, and here's Duchesne to center ice. Near side to Janney. He'll tip the puck in. Bozan carrying to the corner. Gets a bump from Steen. Gets grabbed by Steen. And Ulanov takes the puck in some traffic up the near wing. And it's by Darren Shannon to center ice. Jets are changing. So are the Blues. No score. Housley. Far wing pass. Janney ahead for Shanahan. Trying to get around the defense. He's grabbed on the arm. There'll be a penalty. Grabbed by Ulanov. Still a shot that goes wide. And the penalty will be called against Winnipeg here at 18:57 of a scoreless first period.
Kenny, Shanahan really made a great play on this because he lifted the stick, first of all, of Ulanov, so the puck squirted through. Ulanov thought he had plenty of time, but Shanahan lifted his stick from behind and then put himself in a position to get a scoring chance. The only thing Ulanov could do was grab the left arm and the left leg of Shanahan and prevent him from getting to the front of the net. So the Blues, with 1:03 to go in this first period, go back on the power play.
Hey, Blues fans, remember, it's not whether you win or lose, it's how you enjoy the game. So always reach for smooth Busch beer and easy drinking Busch Light.
Well, that's just a tremendous effort by Brendan Shanahan to turn what would have been an innocent-looking play into a great scoring chance.
Both teams 0 for 2 on the power play. Puck behind the Jets net. Up the boards. Housley can't keep it in. Here's Duchesne at center ice. Duchesne backs into his own end. Stastny up front with Hull and Nedved. Over to Housley. Stealing the puck control. Partial break. Has problems. Gets in front. The save. Rebound. And a shot fails to reach Joseph. Nedved leaves the puck behind the net for Housley. Now to Duchesne. Back for Housley. Blues have a last attack here on the power play before the period ends. 32 seconds to go in the period. Stastny over the line, drops the puck, and it's intercepted and cleared the length of the ice. 24 seconds left in the period. No score. Blues have the man advantage. Housley carries to center ice. At the red line. Rifles the puck in. Duchesne after. Stastny gets it to the blue line. Shanahan. Near side. Housley. A pass for Hull. Tipped away. Shanahan drives the puck over the net. 5 seconds. Duchesne behind the net to Stastny. The Hull shot. Oh, and he shoots wide, and that's the end of a scoreless first period before a huge crowd here at the arena. The final regular season game. And in the opening period, the Blues had 12 shots on goal, and the Winnipeg Jets had 6. Again, after 20 minutes, the Blues nothing, and the Jets no score. Coming up in this intermission, Bruce Affleck will be joined by Blues defenseman Phil Housley. This is St. Louis Blues hockey. No score here at the arena after one period. The Blues entertaining the Jets. We can give you an update on Detroit at Dallas. Greg Johnson has scored with under 2 minutes to go in the first period, and Detroit leads the Stars 2-0. Reminder, in the first period late, Chicago leading Toronto by a score of 2-1. So there's the update on our Bush scoreboard as those two games and this one determine if the Blues will start the playoffs in Toronto or in Dallas. Well, it looks like Phil Housley may not be able to join us, but let's go downstairs to Bruce and Rick.
Well, thank you, Ken. Hopefully Phil is not here because he just forgot or something happened, not an injury, obviously, because we certainly need Phil Housley down the stretch. And one of the questions I was going to ask him, Rick, was what does it mean adding a veteran defenseman like Kasatonov to this organization late in the game, in the season?
Well, I think, first of all, it adds a lot of security and, stability on the back on the defense, because he stays home, he moves guys in front of the net, and he's as strong as a bear. Not many people are going to out-muscle him in front of the net, and he makes good passes. What I've noticed about him, he gets the puck behind the net, he'll make that one pass to the guy breaking through the middle, and it makes a breakout so much easier.
We noticed his strength in the game against Dallas the other night. At the end of the game, Shane Churla, who's a big boy and a heavyweight in the National Hockey League, he just kind of put a bear lock around him, didn't he?
He really did. He almost tore his head off there along the boards, but that's the way he is. I mean, he's a big, strong guy. He's really, when you talk to him, he's real quiet, real calm, but he gets on the ice and he plays that physical role which the Blues need.
Let's look at the two teams the Blues could be playing, obviously, Dallas and Toronto. I know the players will say it doesn't matter who they play. What about yourself? Do you have a personal preference out of those two?
Well, I think they're two totally different teams. I know Dallas has got a lot of speed. They've got some toughness there, but they don't really need it until they get in that type of a game. And they're, with Modano and Cordell, they got guys who can fly, and the Blues have to play a different type of game when they play Dallas. They go in against a Toronto team that's more physical. I think it pulls that team a little closer together, and they play better as a team. They play with a little bit of fear. They don't want to get, hit. You got to keep your feet in the line. And, what team I don't know they have the best luck against, but it's going to be good hockey no matter who they play. I
know you would like to go to Dallas, and I think I might too, get a little more golf in there, right?
Yeah, maybe. And go to Toronto, you're going to have to get about 150 tickets and stay away from it.
As you looked at, the 27th year, lots been said about this building. What are some of your fondest memories playing here?
I think, first of all, my biggest memory was Brian Sutter when he scored his 300th goal, and Herbie Ragland and I were on the ice at the time. We assisted on the goal, and it was just nice to see a guy like Brian Sutter get 300 goals, who every night would give you 110%. And second, I think it's the fans in St. Louis. I've enjoyed my stay here in St. Louis. I love to play here, and the fans were great.
And I know the fans enjoyed you. So, well, sorry that Phil didn't join us, but hopefully you have some fond memories also. Let's go back upstairs to Ken.
After one period at the arena, there's no score. This is St. Louis Blues hockey. Coming up next, we'll flash back for a glimpse of 27 years of NHL action here at the arena. After that, Joe and I will be back, and we'll take a look at some highlights from that first period.
You know what we need? Some Blues jerseys. Did you say Blues jerseys? Hold on. Where are we? This is a Blue Note sports shop with everything a Blues fan could ever want. Bet you can't turn us into NHL stars. Wanna bet? Make a wish at the Blue Note sports shop, and it might just come true.
Got anything in the Stanley Cup?
We have skated through 20 minutes of play, and there's no score after one period of play. Welcome back. to the St. Louis Arena. Well, tonight's Southwest Airlines Blue Note. On this day in Blues history, April 14th, 1981, Mike Crombeen scored at 5:16 of the second overtime to give the Blues a 4-3 win over Pittsburgh. That was the fifth and deciding game of their first-round playoff series. Fly Southwest Airlines. It's just plain smart. With this possibly being the last ever regular season game at the arena, let's flash back for a glimpse of the past 27 years.
Can you imagine what it would be like if they were able to win the Stanley Cup here? Can you imagine?
The past 27 years for the St. Louis Blues. And our score here after one period of play, 0-0. No after one. And I guess, guys, as you look at this game, the Blues certainly have to pick it up. They certainly want to be playing better going back into the playoffs.
I guess that's the key, and that's what we talked about, Joe, when the evening began. That if you win or lose, you're still going to play Dallas or Toronto, but you want to build some confidence and make yourself feel like, hey, we are ready to go.
Yeah, Kenny, one of the things that was a concern, not only of the coaches, but I think of everyone, was that the game the other night in Dallas, when they gave up the 9 goals, they played so poor defensively. And what we've seen here in the first period, much better defensively. Winnipeg 6 shots on goal in that period, and only 2 of them from the forwards. The other 4 came from their defensemen. So a pretty good job by the Blues in their own zone in that period.
So the Blues had a decent period. I'll say this, Winnipeg didn't look like they were ready to pack yet. And go
No. I mean, there's some pretty good players on that team. And Cheveldae could turn out to be the key acquisition for John Paddock and the Winnipeg Jets as they get ready for next season.
Yeah, Cheveldae had a great period. One of the best chances came for Winnipeg, a Tomas Steen shot.
Yeah, and this was when Winnipeg was on the power play. Keith Tkachuk with a great pass, and Steen with the quick wrist shot beats Joseph, but just off the post, hits the inside, goes behind him, and out the other side.
Igor Korolev in action.
Well, what a pass by Brendan Shanahan. He just beats Korolev. Everyone went the other way. Shanahan with a great pass, and Korolev looked like he may have had Cheveldae beat. The puck just slithers off the end of his stick and hits the side of the net.
Neither team scoring in the first period. The Blues with 2 shots for every 1 Winnipeg shot. And our period summary brought to you by your Midwest GMC truck dealers, Bellman, Bomarito, and Brooklyn GMC. So often we talk about the start of the game, the start of the period. Now the Blues, I thought, came along very well in that period, had a strong finish. Now they're going to come out with the power play here to begin the second period.
Yeah, that's a good point. 57 seconds or so on the power play, and that's something they need to get going. They had pretty good control of the puck in the first period during their power plays, but unable to score. And again, we talked about Cheveldae, but in the playoffs as they get ready is how effective are they going to be, because you know that in the playoffs teams are going to come out and try and play physical against the Blues. That could lead to a lot of power play chances for them.
No question. It's going to be intense and physical in the playoffs. You've got to have good special teams. You've got to have good goaltending. It's an easy formula. This is the final regular season game. The Blues, the Jets, and their great fans, young and old alike, jammed into the arena. We're just about ready for the start of the second period, and this is St. Louis Blues hockey. Ultimate driving machine. To arrange a test drive, phone your nearest BMW dealer. Playoff tickets. Games 1 and 2 will be on the road, either at Toronto or Dallas. Friday night, April 22nd, the Blues will be at home. Game 3 of the best-of-7 first-round series. Sunday, the 24th, either in the afternoon or the evening, they'll be at home also. Tickets are available at all Blues ticket outlets, or you can call 291-7600. All famous bar stores, all street-side record stores, all 5 Blue Note sports shops among the locations where you can purchase Blues playoff tickets.
And Kenny, just a reminder for our fans, there are so many fans that go out to see the Blues practice for 6 months out of the season over at Brentwood. But starting tomorrow, a reminder, it's going to be a closed practice tomorrow because the Blues are getting ready and they're starting their focus for the playoffs. And this is very traditional. Most teams do this throughout the National Hockey League. And just as a reminder, they're going to have a closed practice tomorrow at Brentwood. And so, please don't go and try and get in because, again, the focus is on the Blues and trying to get ready for the playoffs. They'll be spending time trying to hone their defensive and offensive skills getting ready for either Sunday's or Monday's first game.
Underway, second period. Jets shoot the puck in, right on goal, a save for Joseph. Blues have the man advantage. The Jets have the penalty to Igor Ulanov. Blues try to work in, and then the action stopped on the offside pass. That pass from the Blues zone all the way over the center red line.
Yeah, and Brendan Shanahan is arguing the call, and I believe that he's got a good case because it looked like the puck may have deflected off of one of the Winnipeg players in the Blues zone before ending up on the stick of Brendan Shanahan.
No score, just underway in the second period. The Blues have Shanahan, Janney, and Hall. Duchesne and Housley out there, and it's center ice. Manson with a punt for Winnipeg. He'll try to shoot it down the ice. Shanahan knocks it down at center ice, gives the punt to Janney. Straight away, takes a shot. In front for Hall. He'll wheel, take a shot. Now he'll drive it home right into the chest of goaltender Tim Cheveldae, and he'll hold the puck. And the whistle stops the action.
Well, Brett had so much time, and that gave Cheveldae enough time to get back on his feet. A great pass from Craig Janney as he handled the puck, faked the shot, and then looked to go wide on the play, but instead of shooting, he just turns, and Cheveldae was going down on the play, and Hull was, when he received the pass initially, he was turned the other way, so that gave Cheveldae enough time to get back in the net, to set himself, and try and get ready for that big shot of Brett Hull. And Hall just takes his time on the play, and Cheveldae makes the save.
Janney certainly had the right idea. There would have been a lot of nets had the connection been made earlier. This is Hull along the boards to Housley, back to Hull. They'll play catch with a puck. Now Housley straight away, far side, one-time shot, knocked down at the defense. As Duchesne's drive fails to get through. 5 seconds to go in the Jets penalty. Here's Housley. Of course, he played with the Jets before coming here. Now the Jets at full strength to Shanahan, to Housley. In front, Janney can't get a shot on that. The puck goes wide. The centering effort by Housley tipped away. Here's Ulanov out of the penalty box. Ahead to control. He'll poke the puck in, and the Jets are changing. So are the Blues. Shanahan behind the net. Off the boards for Hull. Now to Duchesne. He backs to center ice. Gives the puck to Housley. Right wing Hall with net. Shanahan drop pass to Shanahan. He can't get a shot. Poke checked by Kennedy, who wraps up Nedved in the corner. Steen is there with Shanahan. Shanahan tries to center. The puck slips behind the goal on the near side. To center ice side. The puck flings back into the Winnipeg end as the Jets are changing. Kennedy up the near wing to Domi over the red line with Drake in. Domi with a puck. Puts it behind the net. Around the near side, Kennedy pitches in. Dave Roberts there. Clears the puck out. And it's brought back in offside. And the shot taken. It's Darren Shannon. struggles to get to the Jets bench.
Now David Roberts had a chance to clear it, and it was kept in by McBean, who takes the long shot. The shot came up, and Shannon in front catches that puck in the midsection, and he goes down. The whistle went right away on the called offside, and Shannon struggled to get to the Winnipeg bench. He's still struggling.
Yes, very much so. I thought his eyes were going to bulge out there.
When I saw him get hit, mine did.
Shy of the 2-minute mark, no score. We're in the second period at the arena. The Blues with a puck. Zombo out of Duchesne, up to the red line, a pass, and it hits Tkachuk. Great work there. Oh, he gets checked by Zombo. Head over heels, but Zombo is hurt. Zombo is hurt right in front of Joseph, and play is stopped. For the Blues here in the final regular can ill afford any serious injuries.
Well, especially a player like Rick. Zombo came all the way across, and Drake tried to cut into the inside, and a tremendous hit by Zombo. He caught him with not only his shoulder, but also with his right hip. Drake, the ex-Detroit player, trying to cut through, and Zombo catches him with a hip and a shoulder, and I'm wondering if Zombo didn't hurt his shoulder on the play a little bit. He's back on his feet now. Tremendous hit by Zombo with Drake trying to cut through. Zombo on his own power for the most part, making his way to the Blues bench. It looked like maybe a leg was bothering him or something as I was watching him make his way to the Blues bench.
Yeah, I thought so too, but on the replay, there was no indication that a leg was injured. Any chance that we'll see that check again on news shows and sports networks and things?
Well, he's continuing from the hit that he put on Mike Modano in Dallas the other night. Same type of thing.
Nowadays, to get an open ice hit, you got to be helped by the player almost coming right to you, which is what happened there. The save by Joseph at center ice. Bozon stopped. Housley gets a loose puck. He'll wrist it in. Around behind the Jets net near corner. Here's Mackey. Mackey gets bumped, knocked down, and the puck cleared out by Gross. Blues go back. Here's Kasatonov around the boards. Housley lets it go to center ice to Mackey. He can't play the puck. And the Jets go back. Now the Jets work out up to Grosek. Grosek over the line, takes a shot wide, rebound in front, and he tips it wide. Here's Mackey. Dave Mackey with a puck as the Jets are changing. Pass ahead, tips away. And Borsato can't get the puck. Blues dump it in. Now the Blues are changing. On pass for Tkachuk. He loses the puck. Tied up by Killian. Barron back in his own zone. Clears up to the red line to Hall. With Stastny. Back to Hall in front. The stalker off. The pass just out of his reach. Borsato starts the center ice. Pass over to McBean. He'll drill the puck into the corner off the glass. Joseph trying to clear. Tkachuk there. Knocks the puck down. Centers. And right onto Peter Stastny's stick. No score. Second period. Through center ice. Peter Stastny, the 37-year-old. His pass to Prokhorov on the near wing into the corner. Prokhorov centers. Off of Cheveldae. And then the puck hits the side of the net as Stastny battles for it. Then behind the net. The puck cleared over to the far corner. After the puck, Daryl Shannon for the Jets. Jets can't keep it out in, or can't get it out, and Barron can't keep it in. This is Manson working in with Emerson and Borsato and Tkachuk. Ooh, the shot wide. Oh, can't carry the puck in front of the benches, and the teams are changing. As Daryl Shannon. They've got a Darren Shannon and a Daryl. Not exactly an announcer's delight as the puck goes out of play. But we're having fun. Final regular season game. No score. This is St. Louis Blues hockey.
The Blues came close to taking a lead in this game. Stastny to Hull, and Hull tries to hit Prokhorov, breaking in front of the net, and that hard pass by Hull just out of the reach of Vitaly Prokhorov.
Play at center ice. 4.5 minutes gone. Second period. No score. Jets with a puck. Gintal at the red line. Rifles the puck in. Bad hop out of the corner, and before it comes in front of an empty net as Joseph is in behind the goal, he's able to knock it down. Duchesne behind the goal. He's on defense with Kasatonov. He's knocked down, but the puck cleared to center ice. Stefan Gintal on defense with Ulanov up to Domi. He's on a line with Steen and Darren Shannon. Blues get the puck in their own end. Shanahan a pass Knocked down at center ice. Loose puck. Here's Steen. The feed for Domi. Batted away. Darren Shannon. He's number 34. The defenseman number 24 is Daryl Shannon. Here's Bozon over the Winnipeg line. A slap shot. Cheveldae to save. Behind off up the far wing to Darren Shannon. Now at the red line. He'll just flip the puck in way into the corner. Bounding. Joseph, nice play to sweep it around the far side. Housley catches up to the puck. Can't clear it out. Losing it to King. He hooks him down. There'll be a penalty. A penalty call here against the Blues, and the Jets will have their first power play of this period.
Phil Housley had control of the puck in his own zone along the boards, just inside the blue line. He tried to shoot the puck up the boards. It was kept in by King, and then as King went the other way, Housley had to hook King down, and Housley will go off for hooking, and Winnipeg will go on the power play.
Joyce Karlovic is here celebrating her 16th birthday. Wants to say hi to her dad in Mount Olive, Illinois. Also, Mom and Dad want to say hi to Mike, Kyle, and Jake Lucas from Jerseyville. Claire and Emily of Edwardsville are here. They want to say hello to David, Gilly, Karen, Nick, Jeff, Jason, and Jay and Todd. Also, congratulations to Nathan Knezowicz. He's been accepted to attend college at the University of Wyoming. Here's Emerson at the point. Clears the puck off the boards right in front, and Joseph slides it to Kasatonov, and he clears the puck the length of the ice.
Again, the other thing that may turn out to be a factor in this game is the ice conditions. The Blues haven't played when it's been this warm all season long, in the 80s today in St. Louis, and it's difficult to keep this building cool with 18,000 people in it and very warm outside.
Good point. But I guess we've seen that in the playoffs a few times, haven't we? Slow ice, hot conditions.
We'll see it again.
Yes, we will. The last year, however, we'll see that here. Puck back in the Jets zone. They have 1:20 to go in this power play. The Jets are 0 for 2 on the man advantage. The Blues 0 for 3. Jets shoot the puck in. Bozon can't control it. Tkachuk to Emerson. Along the near boards, here's Dallas Drake. Drake stick handles with the puck. Now to Emerson. Back to Drake. Tkachuk is in the near corner. He accepts the pass under the side of the net in front. Loses his room. And the puck control kept in by Drake. He overskates it. And the puck shot by Barron the length of the ice. Housley with 48 seconds left at his penalty. Both teams changing. Blues killing the penalty with Tilley and Duchesne, Hull, and Shanahan. Coming up to the 7-minute mark in the middle period. No score here at the arena. Manson fires the puck in. Leaves it. Duchesne drives it off the boards, not out. Quintal ahead to Steen in the corner. And Darren Shannon feeds in front for Domi. He can't shoot the puck on the net. Now behind the goal. Darren Shannon again to the right point. Quintal. Far point to Manson. Domi in front with Steen. Back to Quintal. Here's a shot. Blocked, knocked down by Tilley. Hall gets the puck up to Tilley off his skate. And the puck goes deep into the Winnipeg end. 5 seconds until Housley is back. No score. Jets work up the far wing. Darren Shannon trying to work in, trying to center, hits Kasatonov. Housley back on. Nedved pass to Housley at the red line. Housley moving in, cuts to the middle, loses the puck. Steen clears it ahead. Darren Shannon. Both teams want to change here. Darren Shannon slowed up by Nedved. Barron gets the puck, has it knocked right back to Joseph, who sweeps it in the corner to Barron. He'll poke it up the far boards to center ice. Dave Tomlinson back to the defense to Ulanov. Then Korolev steals in the win again. Korolev into the corner. He's got Kasatonov. Pass to him, deflects behind the Jets net. Ulanov up the right wing. Gets to the red line. Loses the puck. Roberts turns it far side for Korolev. Nice drop pass to Roberts. In the slot. Kasatonov. Oh, and a pass for Korolev. Batted away up the far wing at center ice. King. Housley back. King stops. Loses the puck. And the Blues back the other way. Kasatonov to Housley. Housley into the Winnipeg end. Drop pass. Here's a shot. And that's blocked. Korolev, who sweeps the puck behind the Jets net. Now near side, and the veteran Dean Kennedy clears it out. Housley races back in his own zone. Chops the puck off the boards. Tomlinson intercepts, but is covered by Roberts. Then Tilley in front of the net to Stastny out at his own end. Stastny to Korolev on the right wing. Korolev cuts to the middle. Drops the puck for Tilley. He'll flip it ahead. It comes down behind the Jets net. Stastny steals. Can't center. Steen in the corner for Winnipeg. Trying to clear. Barron pinches in. Keeps the puck in. To Prokhorov, unable to center along the near board. Stastny. Blues with some good pressure, and then the Jets Steen backhands the puck through center ice, and as the Jets change, the Blues work up ice. Tilley to the red line to Barron. He'll shoot the puck in. Ulanov flips it ahead to Domi too far. Here's Tilley to Barron in front of the Winnipeg bench. Now it's center ice to Hall. He's poke check. Loose puck in the center circle. Tilley with him. Tilley works ahead of the red line, shoots the puck in. 10.5 minutes to go in the second period. Neither team has scored here in the final regular season game for both clubs. Darren Shannon at center ice, right wing to Tomas Steen over the line, drop pass to Domi, return pass for Steen, batted away, loose puck though. This is Darren Shannon, side of the net, works right in front, can't get a shot, knocked down, gets up to his knees, and a backhand shot stopped, and there'll be a penalty call. 10-11 left, second period, no score. And this is St. Louis Blues hockey.
Visit your nearest St. Louis area BMW dealer for a thorough test drive.
Winnipeg goes back on the power play in this scoreless game. Shannon with a great move in front. He's a big, lanky guy, and with his arms just is able to get past Steve Duchesne, who ends up tripping Shannon. That's the call. Duchesne goes off, and Winnipeg back on the power play.
Blues, Barron loses the puck. Along the near boards, Tkachuk to the point. Manson, wrist shot, goes off Shanahan. Bounded in the air, Bozon. Can't clear, kept in by Manson. Now loose puck, and here's Bozon. Winnipeg 0 for 3 in the power play. Bozon over the Jets line to Shannon, and in front for Bozon out of his reach. And Tkachuk for Winnipeg runs into the Blues player Shanahan, and there'll be a penalty here against the Winnipeg player. Tkachuk not very happy, could be 5. Shanahan is dazed. He caught a stick in the mouth. He's checking out some teeth. His lip is cut. And if you're with us on TV, you see all that. But on radio, let us tell you, he is bleeding from the mouth area.
Rather badly. And on the play, what happened was Tkachuk had the puck behind the net, and Shanahan was going into forecheck, and Tkachuk sees him coming and puts his stick up on the play, and boy, he just catches him with a high stick right in the mouth. Shanahan now going to the Blues dressing room. Tkachuk sees him coming, gets his stick up to try and get past him, and boy, he caught that high stick right in the mouth.
Some people have questioned if the players really care about each other, and when you see a play like that, it makes you wonder, doesn't it?
Well, here's what I don't understand right now is that he's given a 4-minute penalty, a double minor, instead of 5 minutes for high sticking. And that's the discretion of the referee of whether it was intentional or not. And now Brett Hull is certainly arguing the call. Tkachuk again has the puck going behind the net. Now he sees Shanahan coming, tries to get past him, but puts his stick right up in his face. I mean, I'm sorry, folks, but to me that's a 5-minute major and a game misconduct.
I agree wholeheartedly. He saw him coming, thought he might get checked, brought his stick up to protect himself. He would say, you know what? You can't do that.
That's right. That's right. I mean, the fans had a clear view of it, especially the people sitting down behind the net. I mean, that's clearly a high sticking major if there was one. I mean, if you want to call this thing by the book, in the book, that's what it says, what we were able to see on the replay.
Brendan Shanahan will go get some repairs in the dressing room. Looked like he might have lost a tooth or two.
Wow, he got the stick up high, and I think he may have lost at least one. And plus, the cut seemed serious as well.
Here is Barron from the face-off, and a shot from the blue line right on. Cheveldae makes the save. Of course, what you have here now, remember you got Duchesne in the penalty box. He's got 1:28 to go. Tkachuk now 3:57 to go. So it's 4-on-4, and then the Blues eventually will get a power play.
And Kenny, but again, when you look at that type of play, Tkachuk being one of their key players on that team, and to allow that to happen, he stays in the game, whereas the Blues lose Brendan Shanahan, one of their key players.
The face-off will be near Tim Cheveldae. Nedved is out there for the face-off against Nelson Emerson. Castleton off at the right point, Barron at the left point. Manson gets the puck. Ahead to Steen at center ice. In over the line, the shot. Goal! Save on Steen by Curtis Joseph, and he holds the puck in his traffic.
Now, Tomas Steen has certainly shown us tonight that he can shoot the puck. Steen just going the other way. Now, Dave Manson is heading for the front of the net, and Steen with a quick wrist shot. Joseph had to make a good glove save on Tomas Steen with Dave Manson trying to get in, looking for a rebound, but a good job by Murray Barron taking Manson out of the play.
The shots are 4-4 in this period. 9:30 to go in the second. 16-10 favoring the Blues overall. Both teams are a man short. Neither team has scored here tonight. The Jets finished for the season after this one. The Blues go to the playoffs. First round begins on the road, either in Dallas or Toronto. Toronto 2, Chicago 2 in the second period in Chicago. And in the second period at Dallas, the Stars trail the Wings 2-0. Those are the teams that will finish. The Stars, the Blues, the Leafs, and the Blackhawks. 3, 4, 5, and 6 in the Western Conference. 3 will play 6, 4 will play 5. However, they finish.
Kenny, how about the Islanders finish? 8-game unbeaten string going into tonight's game to make it into the playoffs when it looked like their hopes were dashed, but Florida only winning one of their last 11 games. It was their downfall.
Broken hearts in Miami. Jets shoot the puck in. Barron, but boy, the Panthers had a wonderful first season. They really did. At center ice, Nedved. This pass flips behind Barron. Blues are going to change here. They'll have a power play in 35 seconds. Jets to center ice. Manson, right wing to Steen. Over the line with Emerson. He gives Emerson the puck. Quick shot. It's caught by Joseph, and he leaves the puck for Housley. Long pass up the middle. Too far for Korolev. Put the puck right on goal. Cheveldae. Here's the center. And the puck will go all the way down to Joseph. He's trying to shoot the puck right back to Cheveldae. Here's Housley. Up for Hall at his own line. In the middle to Tilley. He's at the red line. Right wing to Housley. He stops, loses the puck, and Milanov has it.
Cheveldae and Joseph have met each other before, have they not?
Out in the middle somewhere, as I recall. Now back on Duchesne. Blues have the man advantage for 2:22. Blues change. Well, what an opportunity this is. 8 minutes to go, second period. Housley in his own end, up to Stastny. He loses the puck. Batted ahead by Control. Housley back in his own end. Housley gets it ahead. Janney works in. He's on with Stastny. And Hall gets the puck to Stastny. Back to Tilley. It gets away. A race. And Tilley ties up Darren Shannon. Up the right wing. Stastny and over the line. Drop pass. Hall is shot. Rolled on. And Cheveldae to save on number 16.
And what a play by Craig Janney, as it looked like Janney may have been able to pick up the puck, but knowing where Brett Hull was on the play, Janney just skated right over the puck and right through it, and with Hull coming the other way, he takes the long shot, and Cheveldae, who has been extremely steady tonight, makes the save. Again, Peter Stastny starts the play. Janney just lets it go to Hull, who takes a shot, and Cheveldae, boy, he's been sharp. He's watching the puck all the way and not only makes the save, but somehow controls the rebound on the big shot by Brett Hull and holds on.
Hall with 56 goals, 96 points. Brendan Shanahan, 50 goals, 50 assists. He is the team's leading scorer at 100 points, and most likely that's the way it'll end.
Yeah, and Brett Hull, 4 consecutive seasons prior to this one with 100 points. He needs 4 tonight to reach that plateau.
Hall fakes a shot, gives the puck to Janney to the blue line to Duchesne. Power play Blues, no score, second period. Duchesne far wing to Janney. Nedved up front. Hull is on the near side in the circle. Left point to Housley. Now to Hall. Back to Housley. The crowd getting anxious. Now back near circle. Hall a drive right on. Cheveldae the same. Rebound squirts away out to the blue line to Housley. He'll backhand it around behind the net out of Nedved's reach. He chases after it with Kennedy. Hull leaves the puck in the corner to Nedved. Off the boards to Duchesne at the blue line. Right point to Housley across the way. Now he's straight away. Housley crisscrosses with Duchesne. Gives the puck to Duchesne at the far point. Now across to Nedved in front. A shot. Hull scores! Flat goal! And the Blues take the lead on a power play goal. Number 57 for Brett Hull.
And what a pass from Peter Nedved. Housley setting things up. Duchesne makes a long pass, and Nedved over to Hull in front. Nedved had it going down the left side. He just faked a shot, a quick pass to Hull in front, and Brett Hull's wrist shot through the pads of Tim Cheveldae, and that gives the Blues a 1-0 lead. You know, Kenny Nedved, always known as a shooter, people thought he couldn't make plays. That's a terrific play right there by Peter Nedved to set up Hull.
I'd say from what you and I have seen of Peter Nedved, he looks like a pretty good all-around player to me.
Yeah, he really is. Good size, and he's only going to get better. We talk about his terrific shot, but he can also set up plays.
Here come the Blues again. Prokhorov unable to work it. Ulanov steals the puck. Blues lead at 1-0. Both teams are at full strength. Jets come to center ice. Nelson Emerson in over the line. Stops the puck. Versado overskates it. Stasny has it in his own end. Deep into the middle of the ice to Kasatonov up the right wing. Prokhorov in over the line. Drops the puck to Bozan. Then to Kasatonov. Back to Bozan. And he's knocked down by Control before he can get a shot. And the puck cleared out by Winnipeg. Kasatonov back in his own end. Hands the puck to Emerson. He'll shoot it in, and the Jets are changing. 15:24 the time of the power play goal. Hall from Nedved and Duchesne. Up to Bozan. Right wing to Stasny. Pass for Prokhorov too far. And Groshek works the center ice. Gives the puck up. Trying to get it back. Does. Sees it. And King has his shot blocked. Possibly by Prokhorov. His game back. Now a pass up to Duchesne from Korolev with Prokhorov and Stasny. Nice move, Duchesne. That's batted away. Back the other way. Groshek up to Drake. Drake at the red line. Right wing for Groshek. Look at that defensive play by Korolev, who clears to center ice, and the puck shot in by Daryl Shannon. Both teams still changing. Here's Tom Tilley over to Duchesne. Up the far side, too far for Dave Roberts. And the Jets have the puck intercepted by Tilley, and it's batted away by Darren Shannon, and Nedved gets it. Back into his own end to Tilley. Over across the way to Duchesne. Under 5 minutes to go. In the second period, Korolev a pass batted away, and the puck ends up in the crowd. 4:51 to go. The Blues on a power play goal by Brett Hull lead it 1-0. This is St. Louis Blues hockey. On our Busch scoreboard, Toronto has a 4-2 lead in the second period in Chicago. If Toronto wins that game, the Blues open the playoffs in Dallas. And Dallas at home in the second period trailing Detroit 2-1. Housley at his own line, over to Barron, up to Roberts, too far. Darren Shannon back in his own end for Dallas, or for Winnipeg. He's on defense with McKean. And Korolev tries to work in. Pass in front to Nedved with Roberts. Oh, Roberts! Hope check by Cheveldae. Nedved and Dave Roberts found themselves alone in front of the Winnipeg goal. Darren Shannon shoots the puck in. Joseph can't clear it. Domi centers and runs into his teammate Darren Shannon. Dave Roberts breaks out, then a pass, hits Tomlinson, who gets the puck ahead to Domi. He carries into the right wing into the corner, whacks the puck behind the net up the far side. Left point, McBean a shot, it deflects wide. Domi centers, loose puck. Korolev back, spins around Dean Kennedy. And the Blues, Housley carries to center ice. A pass for Korolev. Now to Housley. He'll wind up a shot, and it hits Kennedy and goes into the corner. Korolev has played so much, he'll lose 10 pounds. He hasn't played as much as he's played tonight.
And he's played well, as have the other Russian players the last few games. Bob Berry is saying they've been one of the brighter spots on the team.
Here's Hall at center. Intercepted by Tkachuk. 3:33 to go. go. Second period, Hall intercepts, brings it in offside, and the Blues lead it 1-0 late in period 2. This is St. Louis Blues hockey.
David Roberts nearly has his first goal in the NHL. The Blues end up with a 2-0. A good move by Korlev just inside the blue line. And then, again, he pokes the puck free in front. Nedved tries to give Roberts the pass. He has trouble controlling it before Winnipeg finally clears. But a 2-0 for the Blues. And, Ken, the other thing that's been somewhat surprising, this Winnipeg team, only one other team in the league has allowed more goals on the season than the Winnipeg Jets. That's the Ottawa Senators, and Winnipeg has played pretty well defensively here tonight.
This is Borsato over the line, and back to steal the puck is Mackey. Then he leaves it for Duchesne. Up the wing too far. Up front, it is Herkus with Paul and Mackey, so Brett Hall double shifting here. Until he gets the puck to Herkus to Hall too far. Ulanov back in his own end. Gets it ahead to Tkachuk. Now to Borsato. Back to Tkachuk at the red line. Weaving in on the right wing. Drops the puck to Tkachuk. He'll let it go and shoot wide. Hall gets the puck. He's got an open lane up the far side. Back to Mackey. Mackey pokes check at the defense. And the Blues onside. Hall drive is saved. To Nelson Emerson. Blues are changing. His pass too far for Tkachuk. And the puck slides to Joseph, who whacks it ahead to Philippe Bozon. Bozon up the right wing. Gets to the red line and shoots it in with 2:25 left in the second period. Brett Hall has scored a power play goal in this period, and the Blues lead Winnipeg 1-0. Jets work out a pass deflects to center ice. Prokhorov leaves the puck in his own end for Barron. His pass to center ice, and it's brought back in offside by Roshik, and that's why play is stopped with 2:11 to go. Let's pause 5 seconds for station identification. This is St. Louis Blues hockey.
Cheers! Weeknights at 10:30 on St. Louis 11.
Chicago has scored at home. Second period on our Busch scoreboard. Toronto 4, Chicago 3. And Dallas back from a 2-0 deficit. It's 2-2. Wings and Stars in Dallas. We might go right down to the final vote is counted tonight. Wow. We'll find out where the Blues go, Toronto or Dallas. Puck in the Blues zone. Winnipeg with it. Jake leaves it in the corner. King hit by Bozon. Barron has his man Groshek, but Groshek is able to center. Prokhorov intercepts to Janet with Bozon. Remember, Shanahan is injured in the dressing room, and the Blues are offside. We get a report on Brendan Shanahan. He is having stitches. He says he'll be back, and I believe that. Well, why not you stop by Metro Lighting? All this week at Metro Lighting, you'll be able to enjoy tremendous savings on top-of-the-line Kichler landscape lighting. You'll save 20% off their everyday low prices. Metro Lighting. Folks, stop by, see the light, and save.
Curtis Joseph has faced only 12 shots, and we've nearly completed the second period here. And he was mentioning this morning, after allowing 6 goals in Dallas, he said, I didn't let that bother me at all when Bob Berry pulled him after 2 periods. He said, I didn't let it bother me at all. He said, that was one of the worst that I've ever seen, with allowing a team that many close-in chances, and he was right.
Blues have the puck. Here's Nedved looking it into the Winnipeg end. By the way, we haven't seen Zombo since he was injured. Apparently the injury was to his head when he threw that great check earlier, and he is under observation. Darren Shannon loses the puck. Blues can't clear it out. Control pitches in. Behind the net to Darren Shannon. Centering pass to Steen. He has the puck in the Blues end. Just over a minute left in the second period. Blues lead 1-0. And Darren Shannon loses the puck. Korlev to center ice. Korlev into the Winnipeg end. Drops the puck. A pass from Nedved. Hits a leg. Tkachuk. His pass ahead, and Nedved intercepts. He'll skate back with the puck in his own end. 48 seconds to go. Pass to Tonoff up to Housley. Pass too far. Then Ulanov, the pass broken up. Dave Roberts tries to work in, unable to, and here's Ulanov, number 5. 38 seconds left in the period. To Tkachuk. Back to Ulanov into the corner. Now centers, hits the side of the net. Bouncing puck comes in front. Stastny loses it. Backhand shot by Tkachuk. Stop. And Tkachuk in the corner with a puck. Oh, that was close. Blues lead 1-0. Tkachuk along the near boards in the Blues end. Stastny knocks the puck away. Prokhorov after it at center ice. He's hooked by Nancy. dribble to Borsato. Now on a feed to Emerson. Cutting down the right wing and drives. They can't save. Rebound! Oh, Borsato robbed. What a save by Joseph. 2 seconds to go. Puck to the net. Joseph dives on it. And that is the end of the second period here at the arena.
Well, Curtis Joseph, who wasn't very busy, had to come up with some fine saves in the last 30 seconds. Nelson Emerson with the first one, a good save by Joseph, and then he puts himself right back into position as Borsato gets an opportunity, and Joseph was able to stop that as well.
So, Brett Hall has the goal. Joseph has the big saves at the end. And we are at the second intermission here at the arena. Good hockey game tonight. The Blues leading the Jets 1-0. Stay with us. Coming up in this intermission, Rick Mahar will join us, and he will lead you into a look back at 27 years at the arena with Bob Plager. That's next. This is St. Louis Blues hockey. We're at the arena, and the Blues lead the Jets after 2 on a second period. Brett Hall, power play goal. Well, Rick Mahar is with Bob Plager. Get ready. Let's go, fellas.
Thanks, Ken. Well, Bobby, 27 years in this organization. You must have a lot of memories. Did any really stand out to you?
Well, there's a lot of memories. I've had a lot of great memories in this building. Probably the most exciting 10 minutes I think that this building has ever seen was the night I had my breakaway.
You were part of those early teams when the Blues went to the Stanley Cup Final 3 years in a row. That says a lot about the character that you had on those teams.
Oh, we had some great players. We had a lot of players in that team that are in the Hall of Fame, and they were older players, but they were character. We had a lot of players from the Montreal organization, Dickie Moore, Doug Harvey, Phil Boyette, Jacques Plante, and Red, Bart, Jim. But the older players, they were winners, and I think Scotty and Lynn Patrick, they brought these players here. They weren't here for the future, but they teach the young guys, and it was a tradition, and we learned from them, and it was great.
Well, you've scouted a lot of players over the years with this organization. What is the biggest change that you found in the players?
Well, you look at the players right now, and it's the players and the equipment. The players are much bigger. I was pretty big at 5'10", about 198 pounds. But you look at the players now and the condition they're in. They're bigger, they're stronger, and they're a lot faster. And they're a lot richer.
Yeah, that's true. You played with two of the best goalies of all time, Glenn Hall and Jacques Plante. Curtis Joseph means the same, I think, to this team as those guys did to your teams back then.
Well, they were the two greatest goaltenders, and right now you don't put goaltenders in with Jock and Glenn. Now they've been around. They were around for so long, and they proved it year after year. A guy like Glenn Hall played 503 games in a row without missing a game. Never wore a mask, but they were the greatest, and I think that was the big part of our winning for those first few years. Scotty and Lynn Patrick knew how important goaltending was, and we had the best, and as far as we went in the playoffs, I think our goalies had a lot to do with it.
The new Kiel Center is going to be a great home for this hockey team for years to come, but not only for the players, but for the fans.
Well, I've seen the plans, and I've been down there. It's going up fast, but the building looks great, and it is going to be, it is for the fans. And as tough as it is for me to leave here and all the memories, there's a lot of fans here, and St. Louis people have been coming to the game since day one, so it's going to be a little tough on them to leave. Their memories are here too, but it's a new era now, and everybody's getting their new buildings. I think we need one, and hopefully we can break in the new buildings, and like we broke in this one.
That 67 Camaro at the start of the game, you stole one of those things?
No, but I did have a 67 Camaro. It was my 9th year in the league. I'd saved enough money to buy a 67 Camaro, so that was in 1976 I got mine.
Well, Bobby, thanks very much for coming down and spending a few minutes with us, and Ken, back upstairs to you.
All right, thanks, Rick. Bob Plager, a great part of this great St. Louis Blues franchise. And for joining us, he'll receive dinner for two at Reynolds Restaurant and Grill at St. Louis Union Station. After 2 periods here in the final regular season game at the arena, it's the Blues 1 and the Jets no score. This is St. Louis Blues hockey. Stay with us now here on St. Louis 11. Bruce will be back. He'll take a look at the Bush NHL scoreboard, and then we'll have second period highlights. 1-0, the Blues lead it as we get ready for the third period. Welcome back to the arena. Ken Wilson along with Joe Micheletti. Brett Hull. When it comes to scoring goals, number 16 is incredible.
Well, he's really something, isn't he? Only one player in the league this year with 60. That's Pavel Bure. But Brett Hull with his 57th has given the Blues a 1-0 lead. On the goal, the Blues are on the power play. Steve Duchesne with a cross-ice pass all the way to Peter Nedved. Nedved just walks in, and what a pass to Brett Hull in front. Hull has to take it on the forehand turn and get the quick shot off. That beats Tim Cheveldae for the 1-0 Blues lead.
It kind of powers it, doesn't it?
Boy, it really does. But, the key here is getting the perfect pass and then turning and still getting the shot off quickly, all the weight on his right leg, and not many players in the league can do that.
Brendan Shanahan caught a high stick from Keith Tkachuk.
Walt played a few years ago. And it was really a vicious high stick because Tkachuk saw him coming all the way and just simply got his stick up on the play. Shanahan catches it right across the mouth. He goes down. Tkachuk was given a double minor for high sticking. Shanahan has not returned since that incident.
All from Nedved and Duchesne, a power play goal at 13:24 shots. Winnipeg 10, Blues 9, but the Blues out shooting the Jets 21-16 overall. The period summary brought to you by Discover Card, the card with the big payback. Well, the Blues would like to have a strong third period as they get ready for the Stanley Cup playoffs. It's 1-0 Blues, and this is St. Louis Blues hockey. Welcome back to the arena. Standing room only again tonight. The Blues head into the third period, leading Winnipeg 1-0. This is the time where we usually take a look at our NHL leaders. Here we are at the end of the regular season. Leading point getters, Wayne Gretzky, 130. He'll win the league scoring title. Fedorov at 120. Pavel Bure, 60 goals, all with 57. Fedorov with 56. And Wayne Gretzky leading the league in assists with 92. Gilmore with 84. Tonight's NHL leaders brought to you by the United States Postal Service. We deliver for you.
Ken, sometimes trades turn out to be a good thing for some players, and Stefan Quintal has been one of those players because of Winnipeg's problems on defense. Quintal has been able to see a tremendous amount of ice time this year. He's had a very good season. In fact, he has made the 40-man roster of the players that will be picked to compete in the World Championships. That's coming up at the end of this month. It doesn't guarantee him a spot, but he makes the 40-man roster. A very good year for one of the real good guys around the league, Stefan Quintal.
We're just about set. Brett Hull has the game's only goal, his 57th of the season. We'll keep an eye on Toronto and Chicago, Dallas and Detroit. Look at this. 4-4, Toronto and Chicago. Oh, and Dallas has taken the lead 3-2 over Detroit.
I tell you what, that Dallas team is a good hockey club. And people talk about them, and they don't mention many stars, but Modano's a terrific player, really coming into his own this year. Dave Gagne's had another good year. There's some pretty good players up front. And Darian Hatcher, especially since Mark Tenorti has gone down with the injury, Hatcher has really stepped his game up as well.
If Dallas wins and Toronto loses, the Blues play. I'm not getting lost again.
If Dallas wins and Toronto loses, the Blues will play Toronto. If the Blues win, they will play Toronto. That's correct.
We'll get it all straight at the end of the evening. If we don't, it'll be in the paper in the morning.
We're going to have a half-hour special at the end of this game, folks.
Here's Darren Shannon, checked by Housley, deep in the Blues zone as we're underway in the third. Blues up 1-0. Out of Stastny, up to Hull at center ice. He gives the puck to Prokhorov, back to Hull over the line. He can't get around Manson. Here come the Jets. It's Darren Shannon, just dumping the puck in. Winnipeg looking to change. Joseph clears up the far boards. Manson intercepts, quick shot, and it goes off Joseph's glove. Manson from behind the net comes in front. Checked by Kasatonov, has to feed the puck into the corner. Blues pick it up there. Here's Korolev racing to center ice. Along the boards in front of the benches, gets into the Winnipeg zone. One hands the puck into the corner, and picking it up is Darryl Shannon. He leaves it behind the Jets net for Dave Manson. Pass up the center ice, hits the skate of Emerson. He weaves back into his own end. Now flings it up the right side. And in over the line, Daryl Shannon. A pass for Tkachuk. He's too well covered. Here's Borsato behind the Blues net. Into the boards by Barrett. And the puck kicked loose. Nedved gets it up the boards. Tkachuk intercepts. He flips it to Emerson, who leaves it for Tkachuk. He's bumped by Nedved. But Tkachuk works behind the net, comes in front, loses the puck, and it's batted into the corner. Now the Blues under some pressure in their own end. Coming up to the 2-minute mark in the third. Blues get the puck and clear it out. Cheveldae way out of the net. Feeds up on the right wing to Quintal, who'll shoot the puck in as the two teams change. Here's Chris King getting the puck in the Blues end. He fires it around behind the net out the far side. Then Drake leads it. Tkachuk is hit. And another big bump. Loose puck. Drake has it. Far right wing boards. And a shot hits a leg, goes over the Blues net. Then Ulanov centers till he intercepts nicely ahead to Janet. One man back control. Janet shoots. And it goes off the glove of Cheveldae. The puck behind the Winnipeg net on the back of the goal. And referee Terry Gregson stops play with 2:27 gone in the third period. And Brendan Shanahan comes onto the ice. He has been repaired, and they love it. This big crowd, 17,573, standing room only.
Now Shanahan looks like he got a pretty good cut. Boy, that upper lip really swelled up, and that cut right across that upper lip. We haven't received any type of report yet as to whether he lost any teeth on that high stick by Keith Tkachuk, but nice to see Shanahan back on the ice. Meanwhile, Rick Zombo has not returned to the Blues bench.
He apparently took a pretty good knock on the head in the check that he made. Shanahan has shot wide. Here's Dave Tomlinson for Winnipeg ahead to Drake with King, trailed by Quintal. Quintal gets the puck, can't get a shot. In the corner, Drake. He's bumped by Duchesne. Chris King after the puck. Locked in the skates in the corner. Drake comes out of the corner, checks the puck to Bozani. Can't clear, right point, Quintal. A feed in the slot, and Kasatonov gets it ahead. Goes on to Shanahan, right wing to Janney into the Winnipeg zone. Pass in front, Duchesne alone. Can't get a shot. Quintal goes down, centering pass. Quintal can't clear. Kasatonov to Shanahan. It's up. Brendan Shanahan, oh baby! What a shot! What a goal! Shanahan makes it 2-0. Well, two great chances for the Blues, and Shanahan with the finishing touch. First, it's Janney trying to set up one of his teammates. It's Duchesne who walks in, a perfect pass. Duchesne decides not to shoot, can't pass the puck either, and then it ends up on the stick of Castatone. Pass to Shanahan. Boy, oh boy, you talk about getting something behind the shot. We saw Brett Hull earlier switch to his forehand to score his goal. Shanahan does the same thing to make it 2-0. Number 51 on the year. What a goal! His first shift after getting stitched up. Now Darren Shannon moves in. He's poked Chuck behind the net. He's tied up by Barrett. Burke is there looking for the puck with Ty Domi. Darren Shannon has it. Still getting bumped by Murray Barrett. Puck still deep in the Blues zone. Finally, Housley takes it, puts it up the board, not out, kept in. Darren Shannon trying to work in front. Pass back for Steen. Steen centers. Darren there. Here's the puck ahead to Houser. 4-on-3 to Hall. Over the line. In front to Hurkis. He can't get a shot. He's knocked down heavily from behind by Manson. That's clear the zone. Here's Duchesne. Getting the puck out of the far wing. Daryl Shannon back in his own end. Tracked by Dave Mackey. And Manson a pass ahead for Tkachuk. Then to Emerson. Back to Tkachuk. Came over the St. Louis line. He misses the Shanahan check. And Shanahan clears the puck out. Shanahan, 51 goals last season, 51 this season. Pass it thrown off in the neutral zone. The corner of a shot. Stick save. Cheveldae as he comes well out. This is Wayne McKean. Stick handling the center ice for Winnipeg. He'll put the puck in. Joseph leaves it behind the net. Kicks it to the far boards. Tkachuk there. Centers to Emerson. Back to Tkachuk the drive, and it hits Duchesne. Then a centering effort by Tkachuk comes to the near boards. McBain slaps the puck into the corner. Nedved takes his man. They kick the puck in the corner. Here is Tkachuk. Tkachuk has the puck batted away. Kasatonov can't clear it out. It's kept in. Kasatonov tries again. Can't get it out. McBain is shot in front. call against the Blues. 5:13 gone in the third period. The Blues have a 2-0 lead. This is St. Louis Blues hockey.
What a pass from Alexei Kasatonov to Brendan Shanahan, and what a way to finish it. Cheveldae back in the net a little bit, and all the power on that shot by Shanahan. Can you mention his first shift back since getting the high stick, and he finishes it off in grand style with his 51st of the year.
Blues up 2-0. Tilley clears the zone. King gives the puck back to Tom Tilley. He flips it over to Barron, far side, up to Prokhorov. Then too far for Stastny. This is Prokhorov with Stastny at home. Prokhorov checks King into the far boards. And Groshek works in. He's hit, centers. Shot by Drake, blocked. And Tilley clears the center ice. You want off to Chris King in the center circle. His shot. Wide of the mark. Off the end boards. Joseph plays the puck. Leads it to Tilley. Blues have 2 of the 3 shots on goal in this period. Control keeps the puck in. Takes a shot. What a stick save by Joseph. Rebound. Blues home. He clears the center ice. The Blues out shooting the Jets 23-18. At center ice. Great. The ex-Red Wing. He'll shoot the puck in. Under 14 minutes to go in the regular season. At least in the third period, there's always the possibility of overtime. Blues lead the Jets 2-0. A pass for Hull out of his reach. This is Control. At his own line to Daryl Shannon. Over the red line to Darren Shannon, who loses the puck. And this is Janney working in a shot. Oh, save! What an acrobatic one by Cheveldae. He flips the puck ahead. This is Darren Shannon to center ice. Flip the puck in. Joseph knocks it into the corner. Janney back. Playing around near side to Philippe Bozan, the native of France. He's tied up by Domi. Into the corner they bump. Kasatonov there with Darren Shannon, who has the puck. Pumped by Kasatonov. Centering effort. Nice play by Hauser to knock the puck away. Janney breaks out 3-on-2 with Bozan and Shanahan over to Shanahan. He scores! He does it again! That's 2! And it is a career high for Brendan Shanahan. Oh, baby, Shanahan, 52 goals here in the 93-94 season. A career high 52. And what a job by Housley, anticipating the play in his own end to break it up. And then Janney's able to get the puck past the defenseman. And is this vintage Janney and Shanahan? The quick hands by Janney, the great shot by Shanahan. No chance by the goaltender. It's 3-0 for the Blues. Face off at center ice. Blues have the puck. 3-0 St. Louis. Boy, this is just what they need to get into the playoffs. Now Borsano in a quick transition tries to work in. A pass to Tkachuk. Both check. Then Borsano check. Dave Roberts has the puck. He loses it to Emerson. To Borsano. To Tkachuk. A shot. Barron blocks it. Then Roberts steps into Tkachuk. Roberts feeds ahead to Korolev. A pass for Nedved intercepted by McBean. And Emerson with a puck at center ice. His pass off Tkachuk's skate. Emerson gets the puck back. Circling in the neutral zone. Back to McBean. Jets with a puck in their own end. Ahead along the near boards to Emerson. Passing across the ice for Tkachuk. Tipped away by Barron. And Dave Roberts shoots the puck in. 12:15 left. Third period. 3-0 Blues. Dallas leads 3-2 at home. Toronto, Chicago in Chicago. 4-4. Will the Blues go to Toronto, or will they go to Dallas in the first round? That'll all be decided in the next hour. Kasatonov in front of his net, up the far side. Mackey in the middle of net bed, right wing. For Korolev, trying to move in, can't get around Ulanov. Bumped off the puck. Then Ulanov kicks the puck to King. He slaps it behind the net to Control. Off the far boards, the puck by everyone who will slide right to Joseph. And the Blues are changing. Karamnov comes on. He has not had much ice time. Tilley, a pass ahead. Mackey, right wing for Karamnov, cutting in with Herkus, a shot, and it goes well wide. Here's Drake, clearing the puck out to center ice. Barron shoots it back in offside as it hits Mackey. Play stop, 3-0 Blues. 11:19 to go in the third. This is St. Louis Blues hockey. Well, things are happening in Chicago. It is 5-4. Toronto leads the Blackhawks now. Dallas at home leads Detroit 3-2. Those games are both in the third period. Third period, Toronto leads 5-4 at Chicago. Third period, Dallas at home leads Detroit 3-2. Here at the arena in the third, the Blues lead the Jets 3-0. Perkins from center ice shoots the puck in. Cheveldae behind the net. Clears it up the boards. Karamnov intercepts and sends the puck wide of the net. And it caroms all the way to the neutral zone. Barron there. He's on defense with Housley. And now a pass to Housley. Up the boards to Karamnov. He's hit by Steen. Darren Shannon in front of backhander by Domi. He hits the post. He was almost celebrating. He hit the post. Karamnov on a very bad turnover. Now in the corner, Darren Shannon. Puck knocked away by Housley. Ties up Domi in the corner. Behind the net to Steen. He centers and Herkus intercepts. Up the boards to Karamnov. And he'll tip the puck to center ice. Back in his own zone. Mark Vishu, his first NHL game, his second shift. He fires the puck in. Blues up 3-0. Here's Borsano trying to center. Battling Stastny. Into the corner it comes. A centering effort for Tkachuk. From Domi intercepted. Shanahan at center ice to Prokhorov over the line. And it's intercepted by McBean. He carries the puck up the right wing. Checked by Stastny. That'll be a penalty. Shanahan beating up on a Winnipeg player. And a third man in. A third man in was the Winnipeg player. Might have been Tkachuk, who was the third man in as the penalty was being called. When we checked, Shanahan on top of a Jets player beating away. Then Tkachuk, the third man in. Now they're trying to unpile. Shanahan is a little bit hot, and I guess that's an understatement. And finally, they're separated. Shanahan wants Tkachuk, and of course it was Tkachuk who high-sticked Shanahan earlier. I'm not sure, was it Tkachuk that he was involved with, and McBean was the third man?
I think Tkachuk was the player that was down on the ice that Shanahan went after, and then I believe it might have been Kennedy that was the third player in. But Shanahan, I hope he's just mad in the playoffs, don't you?
I do. Shanahan came back from getting stitched up after being high-sticked by Tkachuk, gets 2 goals, tries to beat him to a pulp and says good night.
He probably saw the replay while he was getting stitched up.
This is St. Louis Blues hockey.
Well, it was Brendan Shanahan and Keith Tkachuk. Now, for those of you watching on TV, on the left side of your screen, you'll see Brendan Shanahan go right after Keith Tkachuk at the red line. He ends up just jumping on his back, throwing him down, and then he started pummeling away on Keith Tkachuk with his right hand. That's when Dean Kennedy came all the way from the neutral zone to be the third man in and jump in on top of shit.
He just beat McBean, who was trying to be the third man in. Tkachuk says, what happened?
Brendan is saying, you should not have high-sticked me. Now what this does is Shanahan ends up with a 5-minute penalty. There's 9:50 to go in regulation time. The Blues are up 3-0. Shanahan ends up getting 5 minutes for fighting on the play, so Winnipeg with a long power play.
Shanahan 5 for fighting in a game misconduct. Kennedy 2 for roughing and a game misconduct.
And Keith Tkachuk is smiling over at the Winnipeg bench. He doesn't get anything and shouldn't.
Usually when you get beaten up, you get 2 for roughing.
That's right. He was doing everything he could to cover up on the play as Shanahan went right after him.
Well, folks, with a break in the action, now's the time for all thirsty sports fans to reach for the one beer that goes down smooth as a mountain stream. Head for the mountains of Busch. Well, the penalty to Kennedy will be served by Michael Grosek. That's the 2-minute penalty. Karamnov will serve Shanahan's 5-minute penalty. For the next 2 minutes, it'll be 4-on-4. Then Winnipeg will have a 3-minute power play. We're down to 9:50 to go in the third period. The Blues lead it 3-0.
And Brett Hall listening to our referee tonight, Terry Gregson, explain his view of the latest action.
Puck in the blue zone. Tkachuk in the corner with Duchesne vying for the puck. Stastny also there. Finally, it's back to the near point to Control. Control around Hall. A shot! Great save, Joseph. And the rebound, Duchesne behind the net. Far side to Barrett. Then up to Hall at the red line to Peter Stastny. He works in, stops, waits for a teammate. And Duchesne saunters in but doesn't reach the pass. And this is Keith Tkachuk. Shots in this period, 4-3 Blues. They've outshot the Jets tonight 25-19. Jets in their own end. Ulanov to Control. Trying to work around Stastny does. Up the right wing boards. Into the blue zone to Steen. Back to Control. Pass for Steen. He is pumped by Korolev and Barron. Korolev gets the puck. In his own end up to Duchesne, who can't handle the pass. Here's Ulanov. He'll circle back at the Winnipeg blue line. Ulanov forced back again into his own end by Netflix. 8:43 left. Third period, 3-0 Blues. A pass off Emerson's skate. And Housley a pass too far for Korolev, and Ulanov flips the puck into his bench. And that stops the action with 8:35 remaining in the third.
Ken, meanwhile, getting back to Brendan Shanahan, with that last incident where he gets the penalty minutes, that puts him over 200 penalty minutes for the season. He's only the second player in NHL history to finish a season with 50 goals or more, 100 or more points, and 200 penalty minutes or more in one season. The other one, Kevin Stevens of the Pittsburgh Penguins back in the 91-92 season.
We love the modern era of power forward. Wow. In the NHL. Here's Housley to Korolev in the neutral zone. In 35 seconds, the Jets will be at full strength. Now Korolev in along the near boards. Puts a glove into the face of Darryl Shannon, but Darryl Shannon gets the puck. Now to Manson, through center ice. Trailed by Drake, over the line. Left wing to Borsano. Korolev, nice job coming back. Then the puck kept in by Drake, shooting around behind the Blues net, far side. Here is Housley. He's forced back behind the goal. 8 minutes left in the third period. 3-0 Blues. Housley's pass hits a skate. Darryl Shannon back in his own end to Manson. He checks the clock, and Tkachuk just about ready to come on. He does come on the ice. Here's the Jets power play for 3 minutes. Down 3-0. Steen up the right wing, loses the puck, and Kasatonov shoots it into the Jet zone. Killing the penalty, Herkus and Bozon, Duchesne, and Barron. The Blues, of course, without Sambo since earlier in the game. Now without Shanahan the rest of the game. Stealing the puck, Herkus, a pass to Bozon. He just dumps the puck behind the Jets net. 2:30 to go in the Winnipeg power play. The Jets on the power play tonight 0 for 4. One of the 3 Blues goals came on the power play. Emerson centers. Pass goes to Tkachuk. He shoots and scores. Power play goal, Keith Tkachuk. And the Blues lead is 3-1.
And there was a lot of traffic in front of Curtis Joseph, and he was actually bumped on the play somewhat, and I don't think Joseph ever saw the shot by Keith Tkachuk. Winnipeg able to gain the blue line, and Nelson Emerson, and he just throws the puck in front. There's a lot of people in front. Curtis Joseph gets bumped into by Shannon on the play, and as he's still looking around, it was Keith Tkachuk that picked up the puck and beat him with the quick wrist shot. He bumps into Joseph. Joseph doesn't see the shot, and now it's 3-1 Blues, and Winnipeg still 2:19 to go on their power play.
And after that, Ty Domi was right in front of the Blues bench. The Blues, especially Craig Janney, were screaming at Tkachuk. Then Manson came over. Manson's still screaming at the Blues bench. He's finally going to leave the ice. Well, there's a lot of bad blood here after Tkachuk's high stick of Shanahan. That was back in the second period. If you joined us late, Shanahan got his revenge. Came back, stitched up, scored 2 goals, and then grabbed Tkachuk and peed on him for a while. It's a very civilized game. Here's Hall moving in, and a shot deflects off Control into the crowd.
Meanwhile, we have had quite a busy night up here in the booth, haven't we? Quite a few people. A couple of the Micheletti kids, Adam and Allison, decided to bring a bunch of third graders with them. Kevin Wellington is here. Pat Painter is here. Patrick Carmody is here. Kevin Flavin, Danny Costigan, All students and Mary Queen of Peace. They've been in and out of here and going for popcorn and sodas.
A lot of people wondered just how plush our home was here. So for those of you on TV, you get a little look. Also, Matt Stiebel is here. Wants to say hi to everyone at home watching, friends and family. Also a big hello to young Ben Kane, big Blues fan. And also a happy birthday to Marcella Feeney. Marcella lives over in Belleville. She never misses listening to or watching a Blues game. She's a diehard fan. She will be 90 years young tomorrow. Happy birthday to Marcella Feeney. Here's Tkachuk at center ice. Right wing to Manson off his skate. He laps the puck behind the Blues net. Leaves it in the corner for Darren Shannon. He's checked by Hull. Then Tkachuk is there also. To the right point. Steen straight away to Manson. Now the puck ends up behind the Blues net. Here's Housley. Puts it right on the stick of Steen on a give and go with Shannon. And the pass deflects off a Blues player wide of the net. Darren Shannon spins off the check. Feeds across the slot. Near side. Emerson a pass. And it goes off Steen's stick into the crowd. And with the Jets still on the power play, the face-off will come out of the Blues end.
And still plenty of time left. Oh, there's another shot of our booth. There's all the kids waving up there. We've had a lot of fun here tonight, haven't we, Tim? Our help up here has had to put up with jumping over kids and getting things spilled on them and everything else.
What time is school in the morning?
Wow. Good luck to the teachers tomorrow. Good luck to the parents getting their kids up in the morning, including me.
Yeah. Curtis Joseph making an equipment adjustment. 6 minutes, 11 seconds remaining in the third. The Blues lead it 3-1, and there's 1:22 to go in the Winnipeg power play.
By the way, I appreciate you and Marlene taking our kids tonight and having them over at your place.
That's very good. I know
that's wonderful.
You still have a wine tasting party or something to go to. And I know that.
I'm sorry you can't make it.
That hotel room is ready. You and Kathy have a nice time. We told you we'd babysit any time.
And on short notice.
Blues can't get the puck out, then it's touched by a high stick of a Winnipeg player, and that's why play is stopped with 5:58 to go. A lot of finals. Hartford wins at Boston 3-2. Washington wins at Buffalo 3-2. Flyers and the Rangers 2-2 final. Jersey beat Ottawa 4-1. Tampa Bay beat Quebec 5-2. Florida beat the Islanders 4-1.
And what that does in the Northeast Division, if Buffalo had won their game, they could have gone from a number 6 seed to a number 4 seed with Boston losing, and then gain home ice advantage. But Buffalo loses, Boston loses also, so it remains Pittsburgh, Boston, Montreal, and Buffalo as the top 4 teams in the Northeast Division.
You see that Toronto in the third leads at Chicago 5-4. Dallas in the third has a 4-2 lead over Detroit. Looks like Dallas has a good chance of winning, but if Toronto wins, Dallas will end up 1 point shy of Toronto, and that would mean the Blues would play Dallas in the first round. Blues puck far side, trying to work in is Herkus. He'll shoot the puck behind the Winnipeg net. Cheveldae leaves it. It ends up on the stick of Manson. Far right wing, trying to work in. Darren Shannon, up to the boards by Barron. Darren Shannon keeps the puck to Manson. He winds up a shot, save, rebound, and it goes wide of the net. I believe that the Manson shot had been deflected initially, and the Blues clear to center ice. Manson backs into his own zone.
Boy, what a save. Manson can shoot the puck. He's got a terrific shot, and he was able to walk in inside the top of the circles and just blast that one away at Curtis Joseph, and he made a terrific save.
And the Jets are offside. 21 seconds to go in that 5-minute major penalty to Shanahan, being served by Karamno.
Dave Manson, a lot of pressure on him when he was in Edmonton after signing the huge contract with the Washington Capitals, and then Edmonton matched it. He was a free agent. Again, the shot by Manson, just a terrific shot, but a good job by the Blues allowing Curtis Joseph to see the shot. They had the wide open lane so he could see the shot. Talk about great reflexes. Boy, that Curtis Joseph is something, isn't he?
He's fun to watch, isn't he? We are lucky to get to watch such fabulous goaltending all season long. Here's McBean. to Quintal. He works to center ice, fires the puck in. Joseph lets it go around behind the net. King kicks it back behind the goal. Centers. Billy there to intercept. Kick past the net bed. He's got Hall, but Hall had to slow up in the pass too far for him, and Hall goes to the bench. Now Karamnoff back on the Blues at full strength. This is Dallas Drake into the offensive zone, has the puck near the blue line, leaves it, right point, McBean ahead in the far circle. Grosek, and his pass knocked away. Nedved up the right wing to Prokhorov. He'll try to work in. McBean is back. Bad angle shot to save. Rebound. And Bozan could not put a stick on the puck. Now Michael Grosek. Far wing to Drake. He gets around. Prokhorov into the blue zone. Taking a shot. Now to Grosek. And he's tied up and spun down by Tillich. They bump behind the net. And Kasatonov and Darren Shannon bump as Shannon comes in front. The puck gets away. Prokhorov up to Tillich. Tillich at the red line has it stripped away. And the Jets have the puck in front of their bench. Daryl Shannon flips it into the blue zone by Prokhorov. He slows up Steen. Steen in the corner. Steen kicks the puck. Back to the right point to Manson. A shot. That hits Tilly in front. Rebound. And it's onto the stick of Stastny. Nice pass to Korolev. Into the Winnipeg end. Drop pass to Prokhorov. In front to Stastny. A shot. And a brilliant stick save by Cheveldae to rob Peter Stastny. Korolev with the puck out near the blue line. Korolev flips the puck into the corner. 3.5 minutes remaining. 3-1 Blues. Jets pass at center ice. Steen tips the puck into the St. Louis zone. Housley over to Barron. Barron charges to the red line. Flips the puck towards the Jets goal. And is scooped up by Cheveldae and leaves it for Daryl Shannon. He's pursued behind his net by Mackey. And a pass knocked down. Janney a feed for Mackey too far. Daryl Shannon deep in his own end. Fires the puck off the glass and it'll go deep into the blue zone. 3 minutes to go. Got 6-6 in this period. Here are the Blues. Mackey out of his own end. Bring on the Stanley Cup playoffs. Mackey over the Winnipeg blue line. Around Manson into the corner. Now behind the net. Hit by Manson. Then Emerson bumped by Korolev against the puck to do save. And he blisters one just wide as Cheveldae came way out to cut down the angle. And the puck back in the St. Louis zone. This is Kasatonov. Far side to Duchesne, up to the red line. He'll dump the puck in. 2.5 minutes remaining in the regular season. Blues lead Winnipeg 3-1. Now to Drake. At center ice, he loses the puck. Herkus with Roberts. A pass to Roberts. He shoots. Cheveldae! He robs. Dave Roberts bidding for his first NHL goal in his first NHL game. Jets clear to center ice. Hull shoots the puck back in. We're down to 2 minutes to go in the third. Tkachuk in his own zone. Near side to Drake. Through center ice over the blue line to Grosek in the corner. He gets the puck, centers, and intercepting Tony Herkus. His pass, look out. Roberts hit by King. The puck to Hall. And the Blues lose the puck, and Roberts has it at center ice. He'll shoot it in. Down to 1:38 to go. Are the Blues going to Toronto or are they going to Dallas? We don't know yet. Here's McBean in over the St. Louis line. Flips the puck off the end board, carrying behind the net. Here corner, and here's Bozan behind the goal. Up to center ice to Prokhorov, trying to move in. Around McBean, he gets checked. The puck slides to Cheveldae, whips it to the corner. Bozan flips it behind the net, around to the near side. Jets in possession. Ulanov has it. 1:10 to go. 3-1 Blues. Couple goals to Shanahan to give him 52, and Hall a goal is 57. Puck into the Blues zone. Darren Shanahan has had a good game, checked by Barron. Domi there along with Prokhorov, and Tkachuk gets the puck. They pull their goalie. Here's a shot by Ulanov, tipped away. On the bench is Cheveldae. Under a minute to go. Third period. The puck in the Blues end. Along the boards. Jets player goes down. Blues get the puck. Nedved clears it ahead. Barron clears it to the blue line. Not out. Kept in. In the corner. Darren Shannon in front to Domi. Shot stopped. Darren Shannon. Right wing circle. Back to the right point. Ulanov a drive. Off a skate wide of the net. The Jets with 6 skaters inside the St. Louis blue line. And Prokhorov shoots the puck out. The net at the other end is empty. Jets with a puck. Quintal clears to center ice. Up to Drake. Stastny steals. The puck poked away. Here's Mackey. An empty net. He winds up and a shot scuffs wide. 8 seconds left in the regular season. Ulanov behind his net. And Stastny can't steal. Drake clears up the boards. 1 second to go. That'll do it. For the Winnipeg Jets, the season is over. They will not go to the playoffs. For the Blues, a wonderful end to the regular season. They congratulate Curtis Joseph. A 3-1 victory tonight here at the arena before a standing room only crowd. Now the question, will the Blues play Dallas or will they play Toronto in the first round? And we can tell you Toronto now has a 2-goal lead in the third period in Chicago. And if Toronto wins that game, the Blues will play Dallas in the first round.
Well, it's been a great finish, Kenny, here with this game tonight. The Blues came out, they played they played against a team that wasn't going to the playoffs, but they played much better in their own zone. They helped out Curtis Joseph tonight, which is something they haven't done much as of late. They got the big players to score the goals. Brett Hall gets the goal. Brendan, another 2 goals.
Well, let's take a look at our scoring recap. Hall a power play goal in the second period. Then Shanahan 2 in the third. Tkachuk, a goal, his 41st for Winnipeg. And that is our Bellman, Bomarito, Brocklin, GMC truck goal scoring recap. Well, Joe and I will be back along with Bruce and Rick. We'll be wrapping up the regular season here at the arena, so stay with us. Blues win it 3-1 over the Jets. This is St. Louis Blues hockey. Welcome back to the arena. The crowd loving it. Many of the folks are still here. The Blues defeat the Winnipeg Jets by a score of 3-1. Our third period summary. Brendan Shanahan is 51st at 3:12 from Casatona. At 6:58, Shanahan's 52nd from Janney and Housley. And the Jets a power play goal at 12:51 to spoil a Joseph shutout. Tkachuk's 41st from Shannon and Emerson. The period summary brought to you by your neighborhood Hardee's Restaurants, the St. Louis team for crispy, juicy fried chicken. Welcome back to the arena. Ken Wilson along with Joe Micheletti. Nice finish, as you indicated. Brendan Shanahan ends up with a bloody, stitched-up lip, but I can tell he's ready to go for the playoffs, and I think things are about as good a shape as you can expect.
Yeah, I would say so. Again, they needed this type of game to get this team back together again, and at least to prove to themselves that they could play much better hockey in their own zone. As I mentioned, they gave Curtis a lot of help. When there was a breakdown, Curtis was there again. He played a terrific game.
Well, it's nice to see, and still, we don't have finals from Chicago and Dallas. It is looking like the Blues will go to Dallas if those games end up the way they are in the third period. But again, we're still not sure. Let's turn now, Joe, to our Bush 3-star.
The 3-star on the night goes to Brett Hall, who scored the Blues' first goal and his 57th of the year. The Bush number 2-star, Curtis Joseph, who played strong again in goal when called upon for the Blues. And the Bush number 1 star tonight, Brendan Shanahan. 2 goals, 52 goals on the year. What a season for Brendan.
Yeah, he's terrific. Brendan Shanahan had another great game. Well, let's check in now with Bruce Affleck and Rick Mahal.
Well, thank you, Kenny. I guess that's the type of game, as we all said at the start, that you would like the Blues to have, and they did a good job. And I guess, Rick, yeah, it'd been nice to have Curtis have a shutout. That may be the only disappointing thing in the night.
Yeah, they were pretty solid from start to finish, and they, as Joe said, they came back and they helped Curtis out a lot. They moved guys in front of the net, let him see the puck, and every shot that was coming at him, he saw the puck, and had another strong game. Curtis played very well.
This team has had to deal with a lot of mental situations this year. The Nedved situation, the Janney to Vancouver, the trades, the changes, Stasny coming in. Do you think it's still on their minds? Do you think they're ready for the playoffs?
I think so, and it's nice to get a win going into the playoffs. It's always great. It's a nice feeling. You're on a winning note. But they are coming together, and they're playing well. And, the playoffs, guys got to stick up for each other and play for each other. And I think that's what the Blues will do. And they're going to surprise a lot of people. I think they're going to play very well in the playoffs.
You don't think Brendan Shanahan win after the 200 penalty minutes?
Probably not even in the back of his mind.
Not in the back of his mind. Only the second player to do it. 200 penalty minutes and over 100 points. Congratulations to Brendan Shanahan. Let's look at our Bush play of the game. And, of course, it's Brendan Shanahan's tonight.
Yeah, it was another nice goal. And Craig Janney makes a great play here and get it out front. Steve Duchesne tried to get it out front. The puck comes back to Kasatonov. and Brendan standing in front of the net has to turn around once he gets the puck and face the net, and he makes a great shot. And the only place he probably could have scored is right where the puck went. And another big night for him. He came back out with a cut lip and showed a lot of character and got 2 big goals for the Blues.
And he also ends up being the Blues' leading scorer with 102 points, and that's our Bush play of the game. And guys, I'd heard something during the broadcast, something about a half-hour special after the game about who's in the playoffs and who's not. Would you let us know?
We're up here trying to figure it out now, and we're going to take a little look. I think we could at least try to fend off the challenge.
We're getting close.
We have some idea about the playoff matchups. We'll return to the arena with more after these messages. This is St. Louis Blues hockey. The final here tonight at the arena before a standing room only crowd. The Blues 3 and the Jets 1. The Blues and Jets end up splitting the 6-game season series. Welcome back to the arena. And now let's bring you up to date as best we can on the scores. We'll try yet before we go off the air to give you finals from Chicago and Dallas. But in the third, Toronto leading Chicago 6-4. Dallas leading Detroit 4-2. If Toronto wins, they end up finishing third overall, and the Blues would play Dallas in the first round of the playoffs. But that's the start of our Bush scoreboard. Other things, finals, Florida wins at home, but it's too late. 4-1 over the New York Islanders. Hartford, a surprising 3-2 win over the Bruins in Boston tonight. Buffalo loses at home to Washington 3-2. The Flyers and Rangers play a 2-2 tie in New York. Ottawa loses, no surprise, 4-1 at New Jersey. Tampa Bay a winner in their season finale, 5-2 at home over Quebec. Edmonton is playing at Los Angeles, no score. Joe, let's turn now to the Eastern Conference. Again, 1-8, 2-7, 3-6, 4 plays 5.
Yeah, Rangers have the home ice advantage in what should be just a tremendous series against their arch rival, the New York Islanders. Pittsburgh, meanwhile, the number 2 seed, will host the Washington Capitals. New Jersey, after just a tremendous year, is the number 3 seed. And with Buffalo losing tonight, they remain the number 6 seed, so they will host the Buffalo Sabres. And Boston then will host Montreal.
Boy, how many times have we seen Boston, Montreal? You know, you don't hear that much about those playoff series and that great rivalry out here in St. Louis, but Boston, Montreal, they seem to play each other in the playoffs every year.
Yeah, and Boston has had a very difficult time over time beating Montreal. In fact, I think there was just recently, or 2 years ago, Boston had beaten Montreal for the first time ever in the playoffs. And now this season, Montreal has played very well. Boston finally beat Montreal 1 game about 2 weeks ago or so to come out with 1 victory on the 6-game season series.
I'm humored a little bit by the fact that the Rangers have this fabulous year under Mike Keenan. They're not the only New York team to make the playoffs. New Jersey does and the Islanders do. But New Jersey steals a little bit of their thunder by having such a wonderful season.
Yeah, they really did. And New Jersey was a team that was extremely consistent all season long. In fact, they ended up scoring more goals than the New York Rangers and giving up fewer goals than the New York Rangers. And yet for most of the season, really, it was the Rangers that people were talking about.
So there's the story in the Eastern Conference. And, of course, Detroit in the Western Conference ends up first. They end up with home ice advantage. And, again, I don't know how you say that Detroit would not be the team to beat in the Western Conference.
Well, I think you have to go ahead and say that. And, again, the acquisition of Vessenza is still a question mark as to how he's going to play in the playoffs. He was shaky when he was first acquired, but has played better as of late. But they've got a lineup that is extremely talented. Sergei Fedorov is back in the lineup now after missing a few games. Of course, Yzerman. They've got a solid team.
Detroit 1 will play San Jose 8. Calgary will play Vancouver. That's a rivalry. Those two teams have seen each other in the playoffs a lot. And the Blues most likely will play Dallas, which would mean Toronto would play Chicago in the first round. But again, that is not yet been decided, depending on the outcome of the games in Chicago and Dallas. And again, a final thought now as we close out things here in the regular season and head for the playoffs and also play the last regular season game here at the arena from Bruce and Rick.
Well, thank you, Ken. And it's amazing how it comes down to an 84-game schedule, down to the last period to get a winner in this game and figure things out. But Rick, as you look at that Eastern Conference, can you pick some upsets in that maybe?
Well, the two teams I like is the 7th and 8th seed, Washington and the Islanders. And the Islanders always play the Rangers tough. And Washington, I think, have one of the better teams in that division. They finished 7th seed, but they've got a good chance of knocking Pittsburgh off.
How about Buffalo against New Jersey?
Well, I think New Jersey is a team that's very, very, very strong from top to bottom, goaltending all the way up to the forwards. But I think if Hasek stays hot, Buffalo can knock them off, but I don't think they will. I think New Jersey will beat Buffalo.
Still a great job by John Muckler with Buffalo. Any upsets of the 4 teams in the Western Division that you can see?
Well, I think maybe if Vancouver played the way they did about 3 years ago when they played Calgary, they should have beat them. They went 7 games, and it was a great series. And I think if Vancouver can get back to that style of hockey, Bure's got to score goals for them to be well, or have some success. The goaltending's got to be strong. Vancouver has a chance, but I think Calgary, with the home ice advantage, might beat them.
Any final comments? Last regular season game maybe in this old building?
Oh, no, I've had a lot of memories here. I had a lot of fun in St. Louis in this building, and, I've had a lot of fun this year. First year in the TV broadcast with you guys, and I had a lot of fun, and thank you very much.
Hopefully, we will have quite a few more. Obviously, only 3 home games remaining in the first round of the playoffs, but hopefully there'll be a second, a third, and maybe a Stanley Cup final here at the old building to celebrate leaving going down to Kiel Center.
All right, guys, sounds good. Looking forward to the playoffs, looking forward to next season, Kiel Center, and at this point, no finals yet from Chicago and from Dallas. But we're all going to be together real soon in playoff telecasts, so it'll be some fun.
That really will be. It looks like, again, probably in Dallas, which will be an afternoon game. Should they face Toronto, the Blues would have an extra day of rest and wouldn't start until Monday. But in either case, it's going to be a difficult series. Both those two teams pretty similar in their defensive style. So it's going to be, either way, it's going to be a long, tough series for the Blues.
And tonight here, again, another standing room only crowd. The Blues this season in the regular season, average attendance for home date, more than the seating capacity.
That's right.
And it was fan appreciation night, and I know you and I and everyone involved with these telecasts and radio broadcasts appreciate the fans here in St. Louis. It's a golden era for hockey here, and I think a tip of the hat to the fans for sure.
Absolutely, yeah, it's been terrific. For 17,550 fans or so to pile into this building, 31 sellouts on the season out of 40 possible home dates is just tremendous, and we thank the fans for supporting everyone, the team, and all of us. It's been a lot of fun. We hope to have more fun in the playoffs.
We have had a great time here at the old barn, the St. Louis Arena here on Oakland Avenue. Our thanks tonight to Tom McLaughlin, our producer-director, for Joe, Bruce, and Rick. This is Ken Wilson. Thanks for all the memories, and certainly thanks for being with us here tonight at the arena in St. Louis. Our next telecast will either be Monday night from Toronto or next Wednesday night from Dallas. The Stanley Cup playoffs are next. Again, the final score tonight, the St. Louis Blues 3, the Winnipeg Jets 1. St. Louis Blues hockey has been a presentation of Bud Sports through the facilities of KPLR TV and KMOX Radio. Hockey has been brought to you by Smooth Bush Beer and Easy Drinkin' Bush Light. Your Missouri, Illinois, Lincoln Mercury dealers. McDonald's Restaurants, your place for extra value meals. By Southwest Airlines, it's just plain smart. The Discover Card, the card with a big payback. Your Midwest GMC truck dealers, Bellman, Bomarito, and Brocklin GMC. Alton Bell Casino, always your best bet. Boatman's with home equity loans designed to do just one sensible thing, save you money. Taco Bell, cross the border. Your neighborhood, St. Louis Chrysler Plymouth dealers. Corporate Mortgage Services, where the American dream becomes reality. Hardee's Restaurants for crispy, juicy fried chicken. And by Coca-Cola, always best on ice, always Coca-Cola.